Hello, my internet fans. It's me, Statboy Mike, and I would like to welcome you to this week's installment of Throwback Thursday. The Casa D18 Studios Channel continues to sort through the archives of the Jeff Meacham Network, the Simple Man brand, JH95 FTW, NoDQ.com, and the Casa Channel in order to bring you classic content that you may not have seen in a long time, if ever. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Throwback Thursdays offering. I love you all. Statboy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, J.J. Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies! There you go! It sells
God.
itself! Get in there!
Short his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ, give it time.
Now, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move, just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Light. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. We kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He is no longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen!
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. So it's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine.
That's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
Football thing. We got it on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the fan goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
It's so grindhouse, it doesn't even take up the whole screen. That's how messed up that is. Anyway, welcome to the open mic night for our post-Slammiversary edition, I should say, of Open Mic Night here on the Jeff Meacham Network, James Hebert Studios, Casa D18 Studios, the Simple Man Studios, and I forget Casey's channel name. So
Insanity Work Studios.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, anyway, welcome in the group. I know it's very basic behind me. There's no all fancy doodads or whatever, but it's a basic kind of night, if you will. Again, if we do this, is it looking any better? Yeah, actually,
you cover up more of the black background as long as people
that's how Aaron does it when
they can hear us, they see us, they know what this is about, and the background, who cares?
That's it. So let me welcome in the gentlemen, first of all, who are with me all night tonight so far. The play-by-play man himself, the man of simplicity but excellence and passion, Noah Foster. To my left on screen, but to my right, if we're being actual, English-speaking human folks, James Hebert. Below us, the Brotherhood from the Casa D18 Studios, the Renegade of Wrestling, as it says on the nameplate today, JJ Williams, and Stat Boy's here. What are we wearing, Stat Boy? What shirt is that we're wearing there?
Avengers.
Wow, your lag is bad. Okay, that's going to be a fun time. Cool.
It's that Tennessee lag.
Yes.
Tennessee
lag, and we're live in Nashville with Slammiversary, but the Stat Boy ever lags, as we do. Very good. Okay, here we go. All right, so.
All the technology in Tennessee.
Okay. Wow, that was a lot of people talking at once. Cool. Okay, let's try that one more time. One at a time, kids.
I'm just here for the ride. I'm just listening to all this. Hey, I've been pro wrestling.
Oh, my God. So, first of all, let me again commend my team, as they do every time we do one of these. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, James. Casey, I know you had to bail early. I appreciate the commentary from everybody. Great show from Impact Wrestling. Great celebration 20 years. Kind of bummed we didn't see the founder. Not going to lie. Yeah. But we did see AJ. We did see Dixie. So that was almost as good, right? So,
I mean, we did see the founder in the opener. I mean, in the opening.
Right, but he wasn't. He didn't contribute a recent piece of footage. So
he definitely contributed a guitar. Jeez.
Well, yeah, the main event was very TNA original heavy, to say the very least.
Let's see. Was it Toby Keith who provided the guitar, or was it Jeff Jarrett?
Well,
the answer is yes.
Well, it depends. How much did it shatter? Because if it shattered like it usually does, El Kabong, it's Jeff Jarrett. If it shattered like Jake the Snake's spine and back, it was it was Toby Keith.
Toby Keith. It was Toby Keith. Then.
There you go.
Someone got pissed off and got a guitar over the head.
That's it. Don't piss him off. Anyway, JJ, you were along for the ride in the chat room, but I'll briefly, yes, seeing Dixie's a good thing. You be nice to Dixie Carter, Josh. I will time you out just to be a dick. Anyway. Trust me, there's been enough of those tonight. I had to time out because somebody tried to get a little froggy, but that's okay. Bitch. Anyway, so JJ, you were along for the chat room portion of the ride, but again, for those of the people that missed the broadcast part of Slammiversary, what is your earliest memory of TNA and your favorite TNA / Impact, I should say, and your favorite over the last 20 years?
Well, like I mentioned in the chat room earlier, some of my earliest memories are the fact that, I got to see the 1-year anniversary show for a penny because they were doing that promotion, They were still so grassroots. They were still trying to generate buzz. So it's like the 1-year anniversary, 1 penny. How do you say no to professional wrestling, a 2-hour pay-per-view for a penny?
Seriously.
You know, and then we watched it, and it was good. And I don't remember much about the show. You know, I don't remember matches or whatever. Nothing on that level stands out. But just the fact that it was apparently good enough that we went ahead and we tuned in and bought the following week's pay-per-view.
Yes.
For $9.99, the regular price, and then got 2 pay-per-views for $10. Again, that's unheard of in professional wrestling.
Yes.
You know, there's upstarts on Fight TV and other platforms charging, you know, $20, $30, $40.
Right.
For
especially in this inflated market.
Yes.
And like here was a 1-year anniversary show, which was good enough to make me want to come back the following week.
Pay the full price. That's
for
right.
a penny.
And
then as controversial as this person is, and I know we are going to get in-depth balls deep with him come later, but the 2-year anniversary with Jeff Hardy being the mystery opponent to challenge AJ Styles for the X Division title, you know, and all the buzz, like, who's he going to be? Who's he going to be? And AJ's in the ring, and Modest comes over the arena for the first time, and we're listening to this, and it's like, that's Jeff Hardy's voice.
Yes.
And then his name came across the Titantron, much like how when AJ debuted at the Rumble, you know, at first we're like, what is this music? What is this music? And then his name flashed, and everyone was like, oh, shit. It's going down. And Hardy came out for the first time on TNA programming. I lost my shit because at that point I was still a huge Hardy fanatic.
Oh yes.
Went out. I got that Spiral T-shirt that they sold to him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Cut the sleeves off. You know, it was big time.
When you think about that, Mikey, I promise we'll get to your memories here in just a second. Once if not, we'll make sure we're patient with through your lag issues when you give your answers to this story. So this question, I should say. Within a 12-month period, you got to figure, Jay, I was at my first live TNA show, Turning Point 2004, which saw the memory you mentioned earlier about Elix Skipper and the Six Sides of Steel walk, which you know, I'm pretty sure my arm is still cut from Val digging in with her damn press-on nails.
I still try to forget that 6-man tag with Paul, Nash, and Jarrett.
Oh my God!
Elvis garb as the Kings of Wrestling. When we all know who the real Kings of Wrestling are, Chris Hero, Claudio Castagnoli.
Thank the Lord that wasn't the main event that night.
But I try to forget that stuff that went down. And honestly, I don't remember half of anything else from Turning Point, but that image. Yeah. And it's like that image, you know, that ended up being part of the Raw opening for years of Shelton Benjamin springboarding into the super kick. Like, they used that clip of Elix walking the Six Sides for damn near, it seems like their entire existence in highlight packages. Whenever they would talk about Turning Point, whenever they would talk about Six Sides of Steel, whenever they would talk about anybody involved in that match, they had to throw that clip up there. So it's so ingrained in my skull.
Yes. So you had that at the end of 2004. You get Jeff Hardy debuting at Slammiversary, or not Slammiversary, but the anniversary show in the summer. By that fall, you had that triple threat ridiculousness between AJ, Daniels, and Joe.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a year.
And then a few months later, you get the debut of Christian Cage.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was, yeah. So you seriously, from Turning Point 2004 until the following November, TNA had maybe not the greatest year in their history, but certainly the most newsworthy, certainly the most impactful.
It was probably their most newsworthy period until the Hogan Bischoff administration.
I would definitely co-sign on that.
Which,
absolutely.
Granted, you know, that went over about as great as a Taskmaster or a Shockmaster, you know, promo, but still newsworthy nonetheless.
Very much.
You mentioned Jeff, and obviously it's a whole different set of circumstances nowadays. But when Jeff first showed up in Turning Point, that kicked off the history of Impact getting these big time stars from the WWE.
Well, yeah.
elevating them as legitimate competition for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hardy started that trend. And then you mentioned Cage, and then Angle would follow, Sting would show
I
back
just
up.
botched. I'm sorry. The anniversary show was 03.
Botch.
I was thinking when Jeff returned to TNA in 2005 after he'd been gone for a brief moment. He came back in 05. But yeah, you figure they get Jeff Hardy in the summer of 2003, a year into their existence. By the following year, they've got people like Randy Savage, who, again, appeared once in a match and once the month before on their very first 3-hour show. That JJ's 100% right. That first 2, I'll say even maybe 3 years, were so full of just moment after moment after match, just everything just clicked.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've all talked about the fact that the signings of the WWE guys that became more prolific with Christian Cage, with Kurt Angle, with those guys starting to come in, started to move it away from it being, you know, the alternative to WWE, but it was still making news, making headlines, and the match quality was still very, very good. It wasn't, like you said, Jay, until Hogan and Bischoff showed up and ultimately took over the creative direction of the company that it really started to not be TNA anymore. And Bruce Pritchard himself, when he came out and said, you know, the TNA name is dead or whatever, it's like he wasn't wrong because it had been dying a slow death for about 3-4 years. Yeah. So,
yeah,
Mikey, I know Nashville's about 3 hours away, but you are, of any of us, the closest to the hub, the closest to the epicenter of the evening. What are your earliest memories of TNA wrestling / Impact and your favorite?
The earliest I can remember was the Ultimate X match, the very first one. That was a concept of a match that I really thought was dangerous and exciting, and I don't remember who was in that match, but to see 2 giant cables in the form of an X, and you have to get on those cables and get the X Division title, it was groundbreaking. It was absolutely groundbreaking. And of course, you guys have thrown out every possible memory I can think of. Elix Skipper, of course, falling up, doing the Hurricane off the top of the 6 Sides of Steel. That's amazing. Jeff Hardy, Christian Cage, Hogan coming out. You know, there were just so many moments over and over and over again. And then that's pretty much it, really. I mean, you guys knocked them all out of the park on that one.
Well, there you go. So
I said as much too that you mentioned that in the promo that never aired. Firecom redacted.
Right.
Yeah, I said that. It's just like moment after moment, unbelievable match after unbelievable match. That was TNA. They when they say total nonstop action, it was legitimate.
Well, that was why the original title of my history thing was 20 years of total nonstop action in the history of Impact Wrestling, because they are one and the same still to this day. In the actions, the in-ring action, other than there was a good chunk of time where the in-ring quality was what it was, but for the most part, these 20 years have been, if nothing else, solid in-ring work by everybody involved. Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
You got to figure, and I know TNA gets crapped on a lot in the modern era. Granted, it's gotten better in recent years.
Yes.
But especially as we've touched on, you know, ever since the Hogan-Bischoff administration.
Right.
For all the crap that TNA gets, or excuse me, let me be honest here, you know, Impact Wrestling. Let me call them by their proper name now.
Yes, that's right.
For all the crap that Impact Wrestling, NWA, TNA, whatever you want to call them, refer to them as, gets, they were innovative, if nothing else.
Yep.
Right.
Say what you will about Vince Russo and his booking and other people that booked the company during those early days, but for better or for worse, going from a 4-sided ring to a 6-sided ring, 6 Sides of Steel, Ultimate X, King of the Mountain, Monsters Ball, you know, just to name a few.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, things that the competition either never considered or just thought was too stupid to even try.
and then they ripped it off at a point.
Was what defined their identity during those days.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because literally every idea I feel like that Impact ever introduced, good, bad, and different. I think the locker room at that time, and even to this day, is the purest definition in the sport of turning chicken shit into chicken salad.
Oh yeah,
that was that locker room. That was that locker room, man. Vince Russo and Jim Cornette could have recommended garbage upon garbage for years upon years, and they make that stuff memorable every single time. Like, here's a great example. I still remember that brutal brawl between Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt at the Pink Taco.
Right.
Such a dumb concept, but they made it work.
Yeah, they really did.
That was the level of commitment that this roster had. It did not matter what dumb idea that Russo or Cornette came up with. I remember a flag match. We watched it recently. That, like, the concept in and of itself is so outdated. I think nobody said it itself. Cornette made a flag match between Team 3D with Spike in tow, I believe against Team Canada, and the match was so good. It was so much better than it had any right to be. That's how amazing this roster was. It was stacked to the gills, man.
For real. And then you think about the where are they now type of guys that had all the potential in the world. And for whatever reason, either TNA just couldn't pull the trigger or they couldn't find that missing X factor to really rocket them to the moon. Guys like Monty Brown. Why was Monty Brown never an NWA TNA champion?
Monty Brown,
Sonny
Siaki.
Yeah.
I mentioned him earlier,
You know, these guys had it. Like, while The Rock was going on hiatus, making movies in WWE, coming back and forth, Kaki Siaki was their version of The Rock.
We talked about that earlier with the hit. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the reason why he wanted to be Sonny Siaki.
Right.
He didn't want to be he wanted that cocky demeanor, of course. But he didn't want to be the next Rock.
No.
And it's funny because you look at a Ricky Starks now, there's a lot of Sonny Siaki in Ricky. The way his mannerisms, his swagger. He's got some of that Rock twang.
I'm glad somebody said it besides me. I saw so much of Siaki when I saw Starks in person. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Like even
seriously,
the hair, dude.
Yeah, if Sonny Siaki had the staying power and not been so pigeonholed into that role, he could have easily been Ricky Starks right now.
Oh my God.
Wildcat Chris Harris.
Who we saw tonight. Woo!
You know, like the AMW run was legendary.
Yeah.
But that dude also should have been NWA TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
Agree.
But at the end of the day, Jay, he got a 3-disc DVD release out of that WWE run. The best of Braden Walker. That was the greatest thing ever. It's Father's Day. I'm allowed more dad jokes. It ain't over yet, damn it. Anyway.
I didn't expect anything less. You kidding me?
Since you mentioned Father's Day real quick, let me take a moment while we're on the air here before we get balls deep into our topics and publicly on the air thank my daughter for my Bianca Belair Funko Pop.
Nice.
That was my Father's Day gift.
Atta Nat. Atta girl.
Way to go, Natalie.
It was the only
job.
one there that she recognized and remembered me talking about because she doesn't follow wrestling.
Right.
But she saw this, knew that I was mentioning the name, knew that I liked her, and so this was my gift from her.
That is teenage intuition when it actually hones in. That's good shit, pal.
And she's in purple, which, as everyone knows, is my favorite color. So, you know, there's that going for it, too.
You should know that more than anybody else.
See, kids came through. JJ got a Bianca Belair Funko. I mentioned it on the air, but I didn't talk about it. Oh, that's cute as hell.
How perfect is that for me, Jeff?
Right?
Nacho average papa. Like,
Nacho average papa, that's it.
I've told people for years, they cut my veins open when I die. Freaking cheddar cheese is going to come oozing out of me instead of blood.
For real. This dude, seriously, You give him any kind of cheese, maybe except for the stinky ones. I'm talking like the blue cheese and the Limburgers. JJ's on that like flies on shit, for real, dude. Me, my kid came through too. As I mentioned it, I didn't show it on the air, but I mentioned it. Brand new wireless keyboard and mouse to go.
Oh, you're living life.
Dude.
Dude, it was so ironic that I ended up on bed rest today because of the illness and the head trauma. I'm like, dude, this is perfect. I don't have to move a goddamn thing. Good stuff.
You finally advanced. I'm proud of you, brother.
Yeah, right? I'm out of the Stone Age when it comes to the mouse and the keyboard. Woo woo!
Hey, not for nothing. You got better old school intros graphics too.
Well, there you go.
So I have to know, since I didn't actually see the show, how did Chris Harris look? Because I remember the last time he came out on Impact TV, he was fat, he was rugged looking, like he looked bad. He looked out of shape.
He wasn't near 2004 Wildcat, but he was way scaled back from Braden Walker. Scaled back.
Way back.
He looked great. He looked great. He really did.
I thought because he looked so good that they were about to come out of retirement.
I was like,
oh no.
Like, oh shit, the Good Brother's about to get got.
That's the one thing that kind of disappointed me, because I looked at the wiki results.
Yeah.
And the one thing that kind of disappointed me is the fact that Davey Richards was the mystery opponent on the Originals team.
Well,
and that's not a slight against Davey. Davey and me and Jeff and Mikey go way back to Gorilla.
Oh yeah.
But when I think of TNA Originals,
probably not.
Nick Aldis and Davey Richards aren't names that come to my head.
Fair enough.
Magnus, I can kind of give a little bit of a slide to.
Right.
But if memory serves me correctly, Davey came like Hogan era afterwards.
He came in right at the very tail end of the Styles run.
Right. So Davey and Eddie
Davey's
came
not an
in
original.
when after Ring of Honor and TNA had made nice again, which took a while after the Feinstein bullshit, but
so
they
he's
did
not
make nice
an
again,
original. You know, like there's so many people that I would have at least tried to reach out to. I mean, hell, you could have left Aldis and Davey out there and had AMW in that spot.
Very true. Very true.
Or Storm,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And again, Jay, I know you were counting on AJ, but at least AJ did appear on screen. That was pretty cool.
I wasn't counting on it. I knew that it was a long shot.
Right.
But that's just the way I would have booked it, you know, as a thank you for Mickey appearing at the Rumble, Knockouts, Women's Champion, everything. Fill that final spot, man. The phenomenal AJ Styles.
So to show how far behind the freaking the naughty feed was behind the actual paid feed, these guys are mentioning AJ's out. I'm like, what? AJ's there? And then I'm like, he's at home. I was like, if AJ's in the Apex at the fairgrounds, I'm going to be pissed I didn't order this show. Okay.
That would have broke the internet, Jeff. Let's be honest. That would have broke the internet.
Almost.
That was the Asylum, Jeff.
The Asylum. Well, no. Okay, yeah. Well, they're at the fairgrounds, so yeah, I forgot the name of the Asylum. Thank you very much. So you mentioned not going balls deep yet into the topics. Let's go ahead and go balls deep into the topics. Let's just go ahead and start off right off the bat here. Let's just talk about balls deep, shall we?
Oh no! Oh god!
Very good. I went there. Very good. Okay.
Dad joke. The dirty.
Oh, these two ladies! I swear to God. Okay. So again, you never know in this day and age of the tweeter versus reality, right? But these two got a little naughty on social media against one another this week. Of course, they are headed for a showdown. I'm assuming at Money in the Bank, if not, SummerSlam or whatever. But there was a Twitter, a pair of Twitter posts, and Rhonda said, "Someone needs to tell your discount OnlyFans sister fetish YouTube channel is weird and embarrassing." And of course, Natty not one to allow her sister to be besmirched, even though OnlyFans is what it is. Replied, "It's either do a channel with my hot sister or bring people to a rock at the back of my farm to cry and talk about conspiracy theories." Shit. I chose the sexy sister thing because we might be weird, but we're not as weird as your hot takes on life. It's like, God damn, Natty, I guess. So
and then links her sister's OnlyFans on top of that. After getting all over Rhonda's Cheerios.
Yeah. So to kind of update everybody, okay. The following portion of the Jeff Meacham Network presentation night is not necessarily rated for those under the age of 18. Let me just go ahead and say that right off.
You need a banner running across your thing saying that.
I'll do that right now. I mean, okay. Now these are just YouTube images, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm not doing anything that y'all can't see on YouTube for free. Okay, but Jenny, of course, has the OnlyFans page. She established that recently-ish. I believe it was the first of the year, maybe a little bit earlier than that or sooner than that. But Natty appears on their YouTube channel, the Nyhart Sisters YouTube channel, and Natty's dressed like she's dressed in these pictures. And JJ, I know in particular, but we're all red-blooded males, and this is not horrible to look at. Good grief, Charlie Brown. So my question to everybody, let me go ahead and take the distractions away because Lord knows these are distracting as all hell. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Good grief. Actually, no way. There we go. Okay.
Got a little hot.
Hello, ladies.
So since Steve introduced the topic, I'll let him give his opinion first because I don't want him to get trumped on a topic that he brought up himself.
Yeah, go, JJ. It's your opinion.
Maybe.
Okay. So
he's breathing right again.
Now that I've been completely thrown under the bus, just call me Regina George here, and if you get that reference, then you're good for the room.
Hey, JJ, don't forget.
Oh, God.
He's watching.
Did we just go butt fucky? What the hell just happened here?
Whoa!
Noah, with OnlyFans being mentioned, you don't say that here.
Oh, shit!
Okay.
Okay, enough. Right to censor.
Rein it in, kids. Rein it in.
Please bring some decorum back here. What the hell?
Gentlemen, please.
There you go.
So, number one, they are fighting at Money in the Bank. That's where the match is scheduled.
Okay.
This is obviously totally a work.
Right.
They're just trying to drum up publicity for the match.
Yeah.
We know these two ladies respect the hell out of each other.
Yes.
But it's just so goddamn funny to watch because Rhonda, with that cold-hearted stare, you can buy her just trashing the girls for this type of stuff.
Right.
And Natty could give less than an F.
Right.
You think about all the scandals that have been involved within the Hart family to begin with.
Right.
Between screw jobs and sunny days, and do we even need to go on from there?
Happy endings, that's for sure.
I can't even with the laugh in the background.
Broken James. Wait. Okay.
Can you leave the solo shot off, please?
We've completely broken James. He is gone. Jesus.
But I mean, the only problem that I have with this whole thing, and it doesn't even have to do with the actual Twitter beef between the two of them.
Right.
But like, if you're gonna go the distance and create that type of page, then actually show something.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're basically just scamming your fans.
Right.
Because if I can see the same pictures on that page for $14.99, $19.99, $9.99, whatever your monthly subscription is, that I can see on y'all's YouTube, why am I going to pay for that?
Yeah, that's a ripoff. Are you kidding me?
I mean, Jeff said, those are screen caps from their YouTube.
Yes.
What are you showing me for that price that is different than that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that on the top left-hand corner.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
I've said my piece. You can pull me down now, please, because the solo shot on this topic is just killing it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. You know what? Okay. So
Since we've broken him, I want James to go next.
right.
damn
I
it.
was gonna say.
He's got his sunglasses on. Are they Hart family sunglasses? Are they your Bret Hart
They have
glasses?
to be, right?
They feel like Ozzy Osbourne sunglasses.
They look like John
Boy,
Lennon.
ladies, you're doing a great job.
Oh my
God!
What the fuck?
Oh my
For
God.
some reason, with the clean shaven, that just came off even creepier than it probably would have.
Oh, thanks. That makes me feel so much better that I don't have
I
a
swear
beard.
I'm gonna walk out this room.
So much face. So much face.
Hold on. JJ and Jeff in the chat. Yeah, James, you look fine without the beard. Also, Jeff and JJ in the chat. JJ says, "Oh, you look creepy with the sunglasses, complimenting women." Jeff refused to laugh. Fucking assholes. You dickhead. I love how we're not even leaving it off the shot, too. All right, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, okay. Let's talk about.
I just want to point out the fact that JJ called it a creepiness. You're in a freaking dark room with an alternate light, and it's just a thing now. I can't unsee everything that's happening right now.
Thanks. Yep.
So just to make it even worse for you, there we go. Okay.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I can't help the fact that I don't have a damn flight right now. All right, you know what? Here, I'll help. We don't have to have an alternative light. There we go.
Okay.
It's a little bit better.
It's actually better now, so we're gonna be professional again, I think. Okay.
So
all right.
Speaking of Natty, and Wanda in this feud.
Oh my God.
All it is a desperate plea to get people to care about the WWE any way they can, especially in light of recent allegations, which they're trying to find any way possible to deviate from. Let's just throw that out there right now. And also, by the way, nobody buys that Ronda actually hates women that work on OnlyFans, because, believe it or not, if she does, she's kind of a hypocrite because she supported women that she knows in the past, like Paige Van Dam. But I digress. So, yeah, that's all it is. This is just an attention thing. They're trying to bring in real life drama to bring in the feud, and they're doing a hell of a job at selling it. Fair play to them, but
job.
Hey, perfect time for this type of bot in the chat.
Right.
There's no way. I'm almost positive this is not a bot, because that is way too perfect.
Right.
Way too perfect.
I can't make the fucking mouse scroll. Jesus.
That's incredible.
What the hell's the mouse?
If you were not a bot and you just did that just for a giggle, you did good. If you're a bot, go fuck yourself, you scammer. Anyway.
That's right. Yeah, sucker.
What he said.
Pretty good though.
Shucky ducky quack quack. There you go. Very good, Jonathan.
Shucky ducky quack quack. And then Booker.
Anyway, carry on.
This is the high level of highbrow quality here tonight.
Yeah, you know.
This probably shouldn't have been the first topic.
No, this is perfect. Right after TNA. Are you kidding me? That's the right stuff.
Damn it.
Tell me
Perfect.
you did not just say that.
Oh my God.
I did in fact say that.
Oh my God. Okay.
The messed up part about all this is that you've got Bianca and Rhea, which is going to be a banger at the pay-per-view.
Jesus Christ, Jay Banger, really?
And they're getting a serious...
He's not... No, it's going...
You had to, Jeff.
I think the concussion is making your brain funny, dude.
Oh, I got a headache now. I gotta stop laughing so hard. It hurts my head. Okay. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
But they're going to have an amazing match, and they're getting the serious build-up. These two women are amazing workers. Ronda is a legit badass, And we all know Natty's pedigree. They don't need this type of hype and build-up
No.
to make a match that we care about.
No.
You want to
really
sell
is
Dana
the topic.
Brooke versus Carmella or Ronda versus Carmella or something like that? Yeah. Give me this type of build-up because I don't buy Dana Brooke. I don't buy Carmella.
No.
I don't buy those type of people. You know, you want to use that against those type of people? Cool. But you don't need to use this type of angle in this storyline with Natty.
No. Jesus Christ. More freaking bots.
I don't know if it's a bot.
No, it is. It is.
That's the bottom line in this is that these two women are good enough competitors that they don't need this type of angle to build it up.
I'm with you, JJ, 100%. For real.
That's what kills me the most at all this. Granted,
true.
okay, Natty's the one with the sister that has the account.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on.
Like, why are we bringing poor Jenny into this? Like, why?
Ronda did. That's why, because Ronda did, honestly.
I guess. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I mean, is it insecurity because Ronda still has some of the mom bod going on and Jenny look like Jenny do? You know, I find Ronda attractive if we're being
I always
serious.
have.
Yeah.
I always
she
have.
was like crush for many years.
Like
in
if you look at the
UFC,
women
WWE.
if you look at the women in WWE, I've always had a crush on Natty,
Oh, yeah.
Ronda, Victoria, Lita. The women that probably could freaking cripple me if I was given a chance. I've never really been in WWE turned on by the Bella types or the Rosa Mendez types. Not that they don't look amazing, but there's something about the strong woman in WWE that is also attractive that I have always gravitated towards.
Yes.
JJ, are you saying that you want to have your head squeezed like a grape?
William James, we just got Noah back. Don't make him walk off again.
No, leave
Noah,
it.
Before we lose you, what is your take on this topic?
Well, I was going to ask you, Noah, Mike, you didn't want to bother.
Mike is just busy on his tablet, it looks like.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Noah, are you good on this, or you want to say anything about any of this?
All I'm gonna say is this. I've said it once. I'll say it again, as I really should turn on my light because it's a little dark in here.
Actually, it looks better when it comes to open mic night. Keep it like
that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, true, because I'm already ready to go to sleep. But that being said, I'm awake now for whatever reason. Maybe because it's wrestling. Damn it. I look at women in wrestling for freaking wrestling. They are attractive, incredible athletes. There are those that I do deem a bit more noteworthy from a visual appeal as well as an athleticism appeal. That's just a normal behavior of being a simple man that likes professional wrestling. That being said, it's the WWE. What are they all about? It's a publicity stunt. It's as simple as that. We all know the personal connection with Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Heck, Natalya helped train Ronda Rousey be part of the WWE in the first tag-on place. It's not the first time these two are facing off against each other, let alone for a championship. They did the same thing on Monday Night Raw. The only difference here is now they're trying to bring another party on the outside to make it feel more personal than professional. And at this point, really the whole thing about doing what you do on YouTube versus a third-party service that pays you, I don't think you get paid as Tony Storm. But anyway, whatever you choose to do with your body, that's entirely up to you. Don't bring that context in the wrestling ring. It should not affect the result either, too. It's just trying to bring more eyes to Money in the Bank or whatever the hell they're going to do this match. Simple as that.
So, for the record, as far as I know, none of the women currently involved in wrestling or familial relations, as far as Jenny Neidhart, Tony Storm, any of them that are still actively involved in the business, have actually displayed the entire goods on that site. So, you know, we've already talked about Miss Tammy and that she's done more than display the goods. She's actually used the goods for more purposes on that website. So good for her. You know what? However you make the money, whatever you gotta do. But
I mean, you know, do love your body. Beautify it. If you can make a profit safely through it too, and more power to you.
But as far as the actual active competitors,
her account versus her time in the freaking WWE, and everyone knows that the Knockouts are no strangers to doing bikini swimsuit type stuff for like former calendars they used to do too. Stardom still does that, for Pete's sake, and they show up. But I'm gonna leave that alone. That's a whole different region.
Yeah, and even Tracy Brooks, when she was a knockout, she was the only knockout actually active on the roster to appear for Playboy. It was digital Playboy, but she was still there. So you know.
To be fair, Candice LeRae was always my person, but that's just me.
Well, there's a lot of diverse opinions in this room about Candice LeRae.
Incorrect.
Candice Michelle.
And incorrect. The correct answer is Scarlett Bordeaux now.
That's a whole different one.
To be fair, she's not active in one of the major companies right now.
Right.
That is true. That is
so. And I don't think she was active in WWE or in Impact either when she started actually showing everything. So,
yeah.
And if she did, good for her too. Whatever works. Mikey, God help us. Take us home on this.
As I look at the inspiration in front of me.
I'm going to say this about OnlyFans. I think it's I don't care for it, and this is coming from me. I don't care for it. I don't like the idea of it. There are plenty of platforms. If you want to look at that stuff, that's fine. This might be considered crossing a line, I would say, because whatever Natty chooses to do on her own time, you always got to remember she's always going to be a WWE superstar. If WWE goes to Natty and says, look, we don't want you to do this with your sister because of the site or because of the content,
right?
Natty's going to have to make that choice. So, if other people are doing it, fine. But I'm not gonna drop my money on a site like that.
No.
I think the latest one that I totally disagreed with was Noelle Foley. I believe she has an OnlyFans site, and
she's not showing anything more than Jenny or Tony are. So that's it is what it is.
And she
decided but that site
right.
I'm not happy with it. As far as bringing up the site, like you all have said, this is a way to get these two to clash and go at each other. That's fine, and that's basically it. I mean, I'm not gonna drop. If OnlyFans was around 15 or 20 years ago, when we were all in the college group,
right,
that might have made a difference. Now, forget it. I'm not going anywhere near that.
Fair enough.
Forget about it.
For the record, on your statement on Noelle, I agree with your statement because it is kind of the reasons why she did it are obvious. It's the only way she's going to be able to get the money properly to actually get the treatment she needs to finally wrestle again. I mean, that's why she made it. I know it's screwed up that it had to come to that, but let's be honest, any other job wasn't going to pay what the hell that was.
Sorry for the dizziness. I'm just trying to get this
in order to get to where she needs to be health-wise, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of the chat. Okay, so if you guys all can do me a favor on JJ, your channel, Noah, your channel, James, whatever channels you run.
Oh, why? I check my channel.
I'm just saying, just keep an eye on the chat in case I miss it. The two that are in the stream right now, that's already been blocked. I can't make everything go away. Once it's blocked, it's just kind of there. So anyway.
I got you.
All right. So next topic's a little more, actually much more serious. Thank God for that. So, I'm okay with the championship being introduced in AEW, and this was brought up by, I believe, James.
Yes.
But what about this trios title we've been hearing so much about that seems to be on indefinite hold until Kenny by God Omega is ready to go? And the consensus is that he's going to be out for the rest of this calendar year, which we're only halfway through said year. do we really want to wait another 6 months for a championship? Well, no. If we're going to have a championship debut, either we wait and actually be patient, or we do what Tony's done, which is create this All-Atlantic title. The problem with this championship is the Atlantic, it does cover, quite a bit of coastline when you figure the east coast of the United States, Canada, North America, South America. It's basically the Intercontinental Championship is what it really comes down to as far as the relation to a current championship, right? But at the same time, you have a company that, introduced another championship, but there was somebody in this tournament that, is supposed to end at Forbidden Door that's now not going to be at Forbidden Door because the company he works for in Mexico has a direct conflict of interest with AEW working with New Japan. Boo. So you figure Penta's not going to be at Forbidden Door, so it's already a foregone conclusion he's not going to be in the finals of this tournament, which is like, okay, then why are we bothering with having it be there? So again, it seems like, and again, the way I phrase this is more, it should have been phrased better, but the bottom line is this another thing of Tony going, hot-shotting because he was trying to get something done, didn't get it done, and went to plan, Q at this point? I don't know if this was the right idea. I'm all for Miro winning this if that's what they're going with, is what I'm hearing they're going to go with, which is fine. Because I think Miro really got the short end of the stick there when he was TNT champion and didn't get to, really showcase the badass that is Miro. Noah, I'll go ahead and start with you here. What do you think? Is this just one of those that we want to get a championship on Miro? We want to showcase this badass now that he's back, and that's all they've done really is showcase how incredible he is throughout this tournament and since he's returned, which of course he returned when I was at the forum back on the 1st. Is that what this is, or is this another Tony Khan panic, or both?
It could be a combination of both when you consider that one of the biggest criticisms of AEW is how overstacked the roster is, especially when it comes to people outside the World Championship picture. I think at one point, Tony Schiavone even said on commentary, this would be like for the upper echelon to a degree of what they call the middle of their roster, mid-card per se. You look at the TNT Championship and those that contend within that tile picture and those that are within there versus the international flavor with this tile here and the people that are involved with this, several of them having been involved anywhere near towards TNT Championship. I think the only one, like you said, is Miro. That might be the audible, as you call it. But I also think about how AEW wants to, bring everybody in through the door and, of course, showcase and spread out wrestling. If this tile is going to be defended on more than just AEW, playgrounds, like maybe Mexico, UK, if they decide to go over there, or Japan, with the fact they got New Japan Pro Wrestling involved, and seriously, Tomohiro Ishii deserves to be a champion. I feel it's one of these experiments that they're going to try to a degree to try and bring more depth to what the roster is kind of being classified as. And as far as the Trios Championships, I think, like you said, this title probably was something already planned beforehand with how many homages they've done to Mid-Atlantic Championship pro Wrestling. I mean, look at the Women's Championship, per se. Just saying. I feel like Trios is just, they couldn't do it now, so they did this instead. If Kenny Omega was here, we probably would have had the Trios titles and probably this later on in the fall if it wasn't for the Forbidden Door. Someone tell me there's got to be more to this because I don't think if it wasn't for the Forbidden Door, I don't think this title would have even been a thing.
Right. Mikey, let me ask you. They're calling it the All-Atlantic Championship, which, it's Tony's toy. He can do whatever he wants to do to play with it. That's fine. But the fact that they're calling it All-Atlantic, but then they're having guys from New Japan compete in the tournament, pretty sure Japan is on the Pacific Coast. Why would they have a Atlantic Championship be contested partially in Japan? That makes no sense to me.
Not totally sure on that one. I'm not too thrilled with this concept because the only time that a major company had a triple threat title, from what I quickly saw, I know ROH currently has one. A lot of the Mexican leagues do have a triple threat championship. WCW did have one, but it was very rare. So, and AEW already has 7 current titles and 7 current champions. They're already going to do the interim championships coming up soon. That's going to be an 8th title. This would be the 9th title in AEW. this is too much. There are so many titles coming up. They already have so many titles. They've got the TNT title. They've got the TBS title. They've got their own World Tag Team Champions. They've got the FTW Championship. If this title comes into play, I'm gonna lose track of who owns what titles, and I'm not gonna watch it all. I mean, I want to see eventually after CM Punk gets returns, I want to see him defend his title against this interim champion, whoever it may be. It's going to be a great match. But then it's like, oh, this person has a belt, and this person has a belt, and this. WCW had that problem. They had the Canadian Championship. They had the Junior Champions. They had belts like crazy. And I'm like, does everybody have to have a belt? Can we just not have a one-on-one match? I do not like this concept at all.
All right. Again, everybody knows my thing about triple threat matches anyway. The 6-man / trios tag titles, yes, they were a thing in the old Crockett WCW days, and I wasn't a huge fan of it then. I do like the Ring of Honor 6-man titles, for the record. I think that's a great, because there's so many factions in that Ring of Honor, Bullet Club, freaking Circle of Hell, whatever you want to call it, that having a championship the factions can compete for as a Freebird unit, I'm okay with it personally. JJ, what say you about this championship, the Atlantic Championship, or All Atlantic, excuse me, if we're going to say, because everything has to be all something with AEW. Again, you were on contact with me when Miro came back, and I said that night that they're pushing him to something, because he came out there and just rolled over. I even forget who he wrestled that night, which is incredible.
Johnny Elite.
There, thank you. Yeah, I mean, he's been rolling through everybody since he came back less than 2 weeks ago, or just over 2 weeks ago now. Is he the man destined to stand tall in Chicago? And do you think this was rushed because of the lack of Omega?
For starters, you don't have to give me a solo on this one. I'm going to be pretty quick on this, but okay. At the end of the day, I virtually 100% agree with Mikey on this. Miro does look like he's going to be the guy, unless the New Japan representative is somebody big time.
Right.
That is going to get those ratings for AEW by having them on the show for a while, defending this title, taking on challengers, whatever. But at the end of the day, they are getting oversaturated with championships.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bad look. If you want to get another championship, why not put, similar to Impact, and have a digital championship, something that's defended on Dark or Elevation?
Yep. Thank you.
Exactly.
That would be what I would try and do until the trios title, is give those shows something to contend for, something to make me want to tune in to the internet and YouTube and watch those shows. Because as of right now, I don't watch those.
No, I don't either.
There's nothing worth my time on there.
Well,
it's like how even WWF would occasionally pop and have a title change on Sunday Night Heat.
Right.
It's like, oh crap, a title change on Heat? Yeah. And it wasn't leading into the pay-per-view, it was just a random Heat?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I need to start tuning into the show more often.
Yeah.
Right.
You have a championship on Darker Elevation, you're going to make me more interested to check it out.
Yeah. Versus just showcasing a championship for Ring of Honor like they've done primarily with Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Mikey started rattling off all the titles that they have. Is like they've got all the ROH belts in their fold that they've got on TV too.
Yeah, I mean, FTR's on Dynamite on the regular. So
it's like that episode of Oprah. You get a title, and you get a title, and you get a title, and you get a title. Like,
I was thinking the exact same thing when Mikey was rattling them off. I'm like, this sounds like Oprah. But he's right.
Eight championships just on AEW alone, combined with Ring of Honor, AAA, gentlemen, FTW, not sanctioned, but that's still a total of 15 people out of a roster over 100 people with a title. If you want to command of,
and that's without, and that's not even,
15 people on a roster of 100, and when I tune in on a weekly basis, I maybe see 40.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You figure, Jay.
The same 40.
Yeah, as far as the people the interest on Dark Elevation, the people they have on those shows are definitely worth our attention, but they don't advance story.
No.
Period. Velocity, very
match
rarely
and
after the first month, did not advance story. Jacked sure as shit didn't. Same with Main Event right now. Same with
Shotgun Saturday Night.
Yeah. Shotgun Saturday Night was only good when it was actually a shotgun style show and they were wrestling in the freaking subways in New York. That was when it was cool, right? These secondary shows are fine. Figure Thunder early on was pretty good, then not so much. But Rampage is still, when it's live, I actually enjoy watching Rampage because I don't know what's going to happen, but they tape it so much again because of the schedule, especially right now with playoffs in both basketball is finally winding down, or actually has wound down, thank God. The Stanley Cup's about to wrap up, so hopefully they'll get more TV time back for Rampage to be live more often, hopefully. But anything beyond the actual secondary show, figure like this. Raw and SmackDown, for the most part, up until very recently, have had different stories, and they advance those only because they have that one show a week. NXT advances because they only have one show a week. AEW has 4 shows, 2 on television, 2 on basically internet exclusive, that are trying to advance the same show, the same stories. And it's like, we're getting into WCW prior to 97. It's too much.
Yeah, once in a blue moon, they actually advance somebody on the roster on one of those other shows, too. It's like you get 6 matches out of Elevation. One of those is like, okay, this guy's got potential. You get 8 matches on Dark, and you think these 2, they're going to steal the night, but do you see of them maybe show up on Dynamite or Rampage? And I can only name a handful of people, some of which aren't even there anymore, like Connie King, who's made her own brand now and an all-women's promotion, CCW, and being involved in NWA. Yay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people like Dante Martin, for example, they become like a mainstay, but people that you thought really were going to break out from there, like Big Shy Lee, you barely see him at all.
You figure, Noah and James, you've been watching AEW from the beginning as far as all the shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Dark was launched and then Elevation was launched, the entire point of both of those shows was, okay, these guys are wrestling dark matches, so they're not going to get any TV time. But we want them to be seen. And if we see somebody we want to elevate, then we'll do that. Hence those shows' names. But they've signed so many damn people. We've talked about this. James, I'll come to you now. They've signed so many damn people, it's like they can't help but have 4 shows. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
opportunity.
So I was the one who introduced this topic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's totally fine anyway. The reason I actually brought it up is for all the points that you're mentioning. But here's also my take on this.
Please.
I don't think it's necessarily the amount of championships that you have. It's what are you doing with all of the champions that you currently have.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yep.
Even with 4 shows, if you are trying to advance the same stories every week, chances are things are going to feel less than. Whereas if you did a brand split with your shows, there'd probably be a lot less of that happening.
Right.
I go to this idea that I pitched a very long time ago, and I say that it's funny we talked about Impact, in 20 years of Impact. I think it's time to get the TNA out and bring in 3 new initials, and it should be AEW Impact. I think Tony should actually consider trying to buy the assets of Impact for 2 reasons. Number 1, Impact is on mainstream television again, which is a freaking plus. And number 2, that's another 2-hour show that you can put all the talent that you can't feature on, plus you got a whole other bunch of talents, and you can merge some of these championships within your, brand, essentially. I don't hate the idea of the All Atlantic Championship because it's a shot to the Mid-Atlantic.
No, I don't either. But
no, me neither.
And we don't know what they're actually going to do with this yet either. I mean, they could be turning this into kind of like an X Division title but they have more international flavors to it where they all can go and compete for the championship. Maybe this is their all-inclusive title type per se. Maybe we'll see, I don't know, Miro when he wins the belt. Maybe we'll see a match between him and Sonny Kiss, which honestly wouldn't mind seeing because Sonny Kiss is a hell of a performer, and I'd actually like to see that matchup because that's intriguing to me because it's not something you would see every day. If they treat it like that, cool. But the problem is you have so much going on. First off, Tony is trying desperately to get Ring of Honor on True TV or HBO.
Right.
Yes.
And he needs to kind of focus on that before he even thinks about bringing a championship that involves All Elite Wrestling banner, which is why the reason why I think he even did this in the first place is I don't even think it's going to Miro. There's rumors coming out that it might be a New Japan guy. It seriously could go to a New Japan guy, which again, fine. I mean, because honestly, again, to you guys' point, there's too many singles titles as it is. And again, it's not even the fact that AEW themselves created all these championships. Like, because if you really break it down, they only have a total of 5 official championships.
Right.
That's all they got. The issue comes down to is Ring of Honor happens, and the purchase of that happens.
Yep.
And there's so many titles now just from that. And then you look at, the fact that they, showcased the Forbidden Door aspect.
Yep.
I mean, chances are you're going to see a lot of championships anyway.
James, they already got the United States Championship being defended there, the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships being defended there, the IWGP Tag Team Championships being defended there. Just saying.
Yeah, there's
you figure the World Title's probably going to be defended. Jay White's going to face somebody.
I mean, it's a problem industry-wide, where there's just way too many championships. But if you're just breaking it down to All Elite Wrestling, that's not the issue. It's just there's so many titles. Like literally tonight's show, we just saw like how many champions alone.
Right.
And as far as the trios championships go, which is the main reason I brought this freaking topic up to begin with, you need the trios title way more than you needed this.
Oh yeah.
And you needed to bring that in first. Sorry to tell you, TK, you need to alter your plans when shit goes awry.
Yeah.
I understand wanting to keep your word with people, and I get that. But when something goes down, you need to alter the plans and find a way to bring them back into the fold.
Yep.
If you want to have Kenny Omega hold the trios titles, you could literally put him on a current trio right now as we freaking speak.
Right.
There's plenty of trios that could benefit becoming the first trios champion. That's all I'm saying. So we got 6 championships all officially in All Elite Wrestling, and then you got like at least 7 in Ring of Honor, which is already way too much. But if you leave Ring of Honor out, this is the 6th championship we're bringing in. Let's see what they do with it. And to end this off on a meme, can't wait for a wrestler that could possibly be named Patterson in New Japan Pro Wrestling to hold the new Pacific Championship and unite it with the All Atlantic Championship in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Right.
Fair enough. That's fair booking. That is fair booking, to be fair. You're not wrong.
That would be funny.
Actually, it would be funny. So, before we get into what is going to be the main event, because I do want to make sure everybody gets their say on the big news of the week, JJ actually brought this up to me on message directly and asked me if I should bring this up, and I said, you know what, we'll go ahead and bring it up. So I'll go ahead and we'll give it a talking about. So our good buddy Alberto El Patron decided to go on the Twitter, and I have it Google translated. Yay, Google. Basically, what he says is 4-time World Heavyweight Champion, winner of biggest Battle Royal in WWE history, which is not true because he did not win the Greatest Royal Rumble, which was bigger than the Royal Rumble 40-man. Money in the Bank winner, 2-time U.S. champion. I will do my best to raise the Mexican flag once. He's basically saying he deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no.
And again, this is going to probably cause trouble for me personally, but you know what? That's what this job's about. Because I've been friends with Ricardo Rodriguez for many, many years, and I know Chewy still holds Alberto in very high regard. So, kind of is what it is. But I'll go ahead and go around the room, and after I say what I have to say, as impactful as Alberto, a performer as Alberto could have been, his legacy in mainstream media and wrestling will always be the repeated disappearances and the shit with Paige.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate, but that is the way it is. And again, I was there for his Money in the Bank cash-in. I'm not saying it was the worst. He was definitely not the worst Mr. Money in the Bank. Looking at you, Corbin. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Corbin was the worst. Sorry, Baron, but you were.
Otis? You didn't even get the cash in. Moose freaking took it from him.
God.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Okay, yeah, Otis.
Statement redacted. He wasn't the worst to cash in, because that was definitely Corbin.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no.
When you talk about actual cash-ins, you're not wrong.
But the fact is, and again, I know, Jay, you weren't there for... Actually, no, you were there for 2011. I take that back. So, the fact is, we had this amazing story. The summer of Punk had kicked off. He'd walked out of the company. He'd come back. It's undisputed champion match. Triple H is refereeing. There's a false finish at the end with the foot on the rope. You know, there's dispute to the championship. There's money there. And then Big Sexy comes down and, you know, shits in the Kool-Aid, or shits in the girl's bag. I guess we're going to talk about WWE. And then Alberto capitalizes. So I, sitting in the cheap seats with my son, his mother, and our other buddy Bruce, not JJ's buddy Bruce, but the other buddy Bruce I had, actually got me started on this thing. We're like, yeah, we can go now. It wasn't even so. Him being champion was like, okay, cool, you became champion, and he was world champion. Do you know what I remember most about his world championship reign? Dolph Ziggler's most memorable thing. The fact that Dolph cashed in on him was just circumstance.
Yeah.
Hey, really.
Pretty much.
2-time U.S. champion, managed by Zeb Coulter in the beginnings of the We the People bullshit. Okay, got it. His legacy is what it is in WWE. And again, people say, well, you know, you shit on Coco Beware, never been champion. You know what? You take this guy's legacy and put him back in 1987 when Coco Beware was doing the Piledriver album and doing the Birdman. He shit all over. There's no way it's a thing. Right? So I'm sorry, but no. It doesn't work for me. I'll go ahead and go where we're at from top to bottom. Noah, what do you think about Alberto here?
Alberto, not doing that. Well, again, unfortunately, there's just a whole lot of controversy that follows him. Again, I feel like the biggest thing that you're going to remember out of his career is definitely the whole Page debacle. I mean, again, yeah, he did get the World Championship twice. He was also a member of League of Nations that won at WrestleMania. We all remember how that went. He also had a fallout with Ricardo Rodriguez. Yeah, he won the Royal Rumble, but there are many other people that we believe should be in the Hall of Fame that weren't even champions, and they don't have, as far as we know, a controversial stigma to them. Man or woman, per se. We've talked about several names at times, like, why is insert name here? Not in the Hall of Fame. Alberto El Patron Del Rio, whatever you want to call him, making a case for himself, probably off of his own family's merit, knowing that Mil Mascaras, of course, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I feel there's just more negative to the positive that outweighs his argument in that he should be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And in my opinion, no. don't think so. I don't think the accolades that he accomplished versus the mistakes that he's made outweighs basically him having a right to say he belongs in the WWE Hall of Fame.
James?
I'll say this much. You could put him in probably a lot of Lucha Libre Hall of Fames because I mean, if we're going to be honest, a lot of Mexican Parliament doesn't really give a shit about if men beat women. So,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, Sam, you're not wrong.
So, real quick, both of these middle fingers to you for that. Yeah, I'm not okay with a well-known, even if he was proven out of court, which if you stack up all the evidence of abuse that he's ever been accused of, it's like, he didn't physically hurt someone because they didn't have enough evidence. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Right. So, sorry, no. And even if he never did all of those things, newsflash, and Ricardo, you could get pissed at me and block me for all I care. Alberto was never really that good.
Yeah.
He was never really that great.
Not even as a baby face.
As a baby face, he sucked. As a heel, he was the one. It was so. Here's the problem with Alberto. Alberto came out in a limousine, okay, or a fancy car. Oh, gee, where have I seen this one before? Hello, John Bradshaw Layfield. Already seen it.
Yeah.
He becomes the good babyface Samaritan good guy. Who cares? Already seen that. Rey Mysterio did it way before you were even conceived of doing wrestling because your father did it. In fact, your own father did that for the longest time.
Right.
Who cares?
Time.
There are people that you chose to do the basic bare bones minimum to get over, and you didn't do anything to make yourself a standout. And because you wanted to take the shortcuts, your personal life suffered as well as your professional life. So, sorry. Don't feel sorry for you.
So, JJ, before you go, Kevin, I do see your comment there. I actually did read it out when I first brought it up, but I'll read it again. Translated from Spanish by Google, it says 4 times World Heavyweight Champion, winner of the biggest Battle Royal in WWE history, which is not true. Money in the Bank winner, 2 times WWE United States Champion. I will do my best to raise the Mexican flag once. First of all, the Battle Royal thing is not true because the greatest Royal Rumble was bigger than the 40-man Royal Rumble in 2011. So,
yeah. Already, and by the way, he said raise the Mexican flag once. Hey, guess what? Rey Mysterio is going to beat you to that idiot. He has way more credibility than you. Oh, and by the way, you're talking about the same damn. You're talking just strictly credentials. Bushwhackers would like to speak to you.
Honestly, the whole, his handle on Twitter is Pride of Mexico. If he's talking about raising the American flag as champion, Eddie Guerrero defeated Brock Lesnar in the friggin' Cow Palace and did the exact same thing. So,
already happened. So.
Yeah. We've been there, seen that. I literally bought the T-shirt. It's hanging in my closet right now. It is what it is. JJ, the floor is yours, sir.
I was going to say, can you go to Mikey first and I'll close it out since this was my topic?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Mikey, if you're listening, you're on, sir.
This is having lag.
I don't believe that Alberto Del Rio deserves to be in the WWE. I'm sorry. His accomplishments are good, and they are facts, except for the Battle Royal, Royal Rumble. Call it what you wanted to.
Call it what you will.
Exactly. There are. It's not enough. Okay.
Right.
You're a 4-time champion. There are probably other 4-time champions that have done more than you have. Okay.
Without a doubt.
You're a 2-time U.S. champion. You've done this. You've done this. You've done this. Okay, that's good, but there's somebody better than you. Okay? Why do you want to be? Why do you even want to be in the Hall of Fame? Give us, if there is the Mexican federations, if they have their Hall of Fame, their highest level, fine, go do that. Did I like Alberto Del Rio? I didn't hate him. I loved the car gimmick. I loved seeing all those expensive cars being driven into the arena and how much they cost, But there was just nothing about his gimmick and his character that, because you never heard me say, wow, I want to tune into Raw and I want to watch Alberto Del Rio.
And that's the thing.
So,
that is exactly it, Mike.
He wasn't a draw.
Exactly. So why would I want, if I was voting, if I was like a Hall of Fame voter, no, you would not get my vote. I'm sorry. You don't deserve it. Your accomplishments are great. That's fine. Good. Yeah, you won the title 4 times. Did you carry the company on your back like a champion is supposed to? No. Flair did that. Sting did that. Hogan did that. Cena did that. Triple H did that. Austin did that. Bret Hart did that. All those people are either in or will go in to the Hall of Fame because we know Cena hasn't gone in. You, sir, have not done that. You did not carry this. You did not carry the company. You did not carry WWE. Therefore, sir, you do not deserve that ring.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. Stop being a self-entitled asshole because your father's no masquerade. You daft bitch.
Well, number one, it's his uncle. Number two, I don't like Velasquez anyway. I don't think he deserves a WWE Hall of Fame.
What's the difference? Sorry. Jeez.
Well, no, it's different. If we're going to attack personally, we're going to at least have our facts straight, James.
Exactly. Don't be like one of those empty, people in the tuxedos known as the internet wrestling community.
Yes. And JJ, before you go, I forgot we do have one more topic before the news of the week that you also introduced yourself. So we'll go ahead and this one first, and then we'll talk about our semi-main.
All right.
I'm going to try to be as diplomatic about this as possible because when I first saw the initial post, I literally fell off of the couch laughing.
Right.
Okay, but I'm gonna try to be good journalist. I'm gonna try and be diplomatic here.
Okay.
Nah, you don't got a journalist degree. Keep it real.
No, I don't. But we
I almost had a journalism degree.
Here's my stance on this.
Okay.
Is Alberto Del Rio more deserving than some of the people that is currently in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely.
Yep.
Agree with that.
Are there people that aren't in the Hall of Fame that are more deserving than Alberto Del Rio?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
One that comes to name right off the top, and I actually did have to double check, make sure he wasn't already in there. Magnum TA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was never a world champion.
No.
So you can take your 4 world titles and shove them up your El Patron ass,
right?
Because he deserves to be in there before you do.
Yeah.
JJ, I love you.
Okay, but like has been mentioned a couple times, unfortunately, his legacy is always going to be tied back to Paige.
Yep.
If he goes into the Hall of Fame, may as well have Chris Benoit go in the same year.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Granted, before I get booed out of the building in the chat room, what Benoit did was a lot more extreme.
And a lot worse, yes.
But you also have to keep in mind his mental capacity at the time.
Yep.
Does that forgive him? No.
No.
But you've got to keep things in context. Alberto Del Rio knew 150% what he was doing to Soraya.
Yep. Thank you.
That's a fact.
At the time of the incident, Benoit's brain was jacked, to say it nicely.
Oh, yeah.
80-year-old, had the brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
So
Accurate.
that is my diplomatic stance on this.
There you go.
He
I appreciate
it. He deserves it more than some of the people that are already in there. But there's people that are way more deserving than him. Hell, go back and watch me and Jeff's top 10 people that aren't in the Hall of Fame list in the Dad's archives and look at some of the names that we came up with.
A lot of them already went in because we're that freaking clairvoyant and shit.
Some of them went in because people watch our channel, but there's still a lot of names that are on those lists.
Yes.
That deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
We're looking at you, Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
God damn it, WWE goes Hollywood. Put her in there.
Yes.
She was with Captain Lou Albano for Pete freaking sake heading into the first WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden. Okay, I'm sorry.
There would have been no WrestleMania without the Brawl to End It All and the War to Settle the Score, both of which she was a part of.
Exactly.
The entire WrestleMania class went in at WrestleMania 21. There was no celebrity inductee.
Nope.
It either should have been her or T at that point.
Yep.
Damn right.
T went in almost 10 years later. We're still waiting on Cyndi.
As far as I'm aware, there's only been 1 year since the relaunch of the Hall of Fame that not have celebrity inductee, and that was the one here.
Yeah,
so when they come back here next year, they need to do 2, damn it, to make up for 21.
So you said you had this as your diplomatic stance. What is your undiplomatic?
No.
Wait. You said you laughed, right? Hold on. Let's all laugh at Alberto. Hall of Fame.
What's funny is that if you go back and you watch some of me and Jeff's like Dad's episodes from like 10 years ago, we totally were putting Del Rio over back then, you know.
Because of Chewy mainly, but you know.
Well, that and because the Lady Killer was on the show, and he always did I'm the Lady Killer, but you already knew that. Yeah. It was like he had the shtick down, so we were putting Del Rio over back then, and back then is way different than now.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Times change, people change.
Porn bot's always the same, though.
Definite change, and yeah, just I never got
the bottom line, though. No,
I never got the hype about him, even back then.
Nah, me neither.
I was like, shtick was catchy. The shtick was catchy enough to imitate and mimic and try to get some views and some boosts to our stuff, but other than that, it's like, eh.
And let's be honest, when he didn't have Ricardo introducing him, his stock went down even lower because Ricardo was the one that was definitely carrying that character.
That's why says Chimera is amazing.
And again, yeah, that's not a knock on Ricardo Chimera / it's just the fact that once the introduction's over, the shtick's over. It's like, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And even then, it's like, and here's a stack because I guess his name is Chewy, but I'll call him Ricardo because I don't know him that personally. Ricardo is a better wrestler and a better character. So
okay, all right. So
and I don't think I'm out of line of saying that either.
No, you're not. Let me just be clear. Let me just be clear. Pedigree or not, lineage or not, Ricardo has been around. Ricardo's a SoCal guy. He trained out here. He worked out here. He trained people out here. He's awesome. So he got work for WWE. Doing the gimmick with Alberto and then with Rob for some inexplicable goddamn reason. But WWE never really saw the potential in Ricardo because he wasn't in WWE shape at the time. He just wasn't. Right. They even lampooned it when they had the entrance with him in the Rumble. you know, where he came out in that freaking jalopy that he had, and you know, he came out looking like, you know, a freaking, you know, pale, untanned version of Alberto. It was the whole thing. It was like, dude, he's so much better than this shit.
The exact opposite contrast.
Yeah, very much contrast. All right. So this is the semi-main I actually meant to say semi-main for, because this was actually brought up by JJ, and he wanted to introduce. So we're going to have him either go first or last, whichever he wanted to do. It's up to him. When he comes back, I think he said that to go take care of something. So we'll go ahead and talk about it. I'll go ahead and give my piece on it. Mercedes Bernardo.
Oh, Lord.
The woman currently still under contract at WWE, and that we've all come to know and have in our lives as Sasha Banks. So, you know, with all that's going on in the news this week, the talk has turned around to, okay, is she going to stay? Is she going to, her lawyer's going to get her freedom? Is she going to remain in wrestling and go to AEW? Is she going to continue the path she's taken into a galaxy far, far away and stay in Hollywood and expand her role on The Mandalorian? What is next for Mercedes? And I think it's actually a good question leading into the main event. And I'll see if JJ wants to go first here. If he does, that's cool. I personally think that Mercedes has been unhappy, and we all jumped on this topic when the suspension first happened, when they first walked out of the company. So it's not like it's a new thing, but she's been unhappy for a long time.
She really has.
She's been in and out now twice, and
as far as we know.
Right. And she's just not content to be a WWE personality at this point. She's not happy with the way the company's run. If what we found out about talent relations director is true this week, then I can see why. But you know, again, it's so ridiculous that it continues to be a thing with, you know, that. And again, we were all very, very critical of her, arguably rightfully so, right? Because of the now twice that we know walkouts.
Right.
If she's not happy, then she should be able to go elsewhere. Now, the whole talk about, you know, well, you sign WWE contract, you sign your life away, and that is true if you actually sign a contract and you make your name based on, you know, your WWE appearance, which is why, you know, you notice she's not gone out, you know, she didn't do Star Wars as Sasha Banks. She did it as Mercedes Bernardo. That was in the credits very clearly on Mandalorian. So what would you do, JJ? What would you do if you were Mercedes? Would you remain in the business, sign with AEW or the NWA or Impact or whatever, or would you continue pursuits in Hollywood and see exactly how far you can go in that area of the world?
I think a lot of it depends on if Hollywood is already knocking at her door.
Okay.
You know, I discussed this a little bit on the NoDQ review. Wherever she goes, whatever she does, she's going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, she's got enough of a name draw that if she wants to go to Tony, if she wants to go to Impact, if she wants to go to Billy Corgan in the NWA, she can negotiate herself a nice deal with whatever creative control that she feels that she needs, more than likely,
right,
and be good. Yeah. However, she also has the acting. She, you know, did the role in Mandalorian. She's been on the Kids' Choice Awards. She's been somebody that's been doing red carpet premieres and having her face out there in the industry ever since her role on The Mandalorian,
including the FCs.
The fact that she, small part or not, has her hand in that Disney Plus cookie jar now,
right,
could be all that she needs to be set for life with that company.
Yes.
All it takes is one experience, a positive experience, not being difficult to work with, good ratings on her episode. She's already got the name recognition. She's going to bring fans into products. For all we know, they could be looking for a starring vehicle for her as we speak.
Right.
Oh, you're out of your mind. She only had a couple minutes on the show. Like I said on the No DQ review, ask The Rock how the line Hakuma Shinte turned out for him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Granted, The Rock was a main eventer at the time. He was big. Sasha Banks is a main eventer in the women's division. Main evented WrestleMania.
Yep.
On more than one occasion.
Yep.
First all colored main event in WrestleMania history as well. That's a big deal that a lot of people, even if you're not a wrestling fan, paid attention to.
That's right.
So the wheels are just beginning to spin for Mercedes.
Right.
And she literally has, as the old song says, the whole world in her hands.
Yep.
Sky's the limit. It's a matter of where she wants to drop her pin on the map as far as where she wants to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that's what frightens WWE.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's stuff like this, which is why they don't want to make money and establish characters under Mercedes Vernado.
Yep.
Because they can take their real name wherever they want to go. WWE doesn't own that license.
Yep, exactly.
So she can't take the gimmick of Sasha Banks anywhere, which is how she's been marketed, how she's made her name, how she's known.
Right.
In wrestling, yeah.
But let's be real, outside of wrestling, other than The Mandalorian, she doesn't have a whole lot.
No.
Yet.
Exactly.
But that's what WWE wants to prevent. That's why they're so opposed now to people working under their real names. That's why so many people are getting repackaged, and even just a slight name change so that it can be something that they can copyright, they can trademark, they can make money off of, that they can't take with them once they leave in a future endeavor.
Daniel Bryan. Like literally, Bryan Danielson reversed. Like it's really what that is.
Exactly.
So stupid.
Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens used to always joke about if he ever made it up, he'd be Stephen Keen.
Right. You did. I remember that.
Stephen Keen.
I remember that.
The fact that AJ Styles was able to hold on to his name.
Well, I'm 99.
Well, AJ wanted to just be a pro wrestler. That's why.
Well, but I'm 99% sure also that AJ Styles went out and trademarked that either right as he signed with TNA out of Wildside or as he and Dixie were having their little lovers quarrel at the very end.
Possibly.
Pretty sure that's how that went down. Because you remember, he's taken that everywhere. Like literally everywhere. Yep. So, Mikey, I will ask you next, and then we'll move up to our crack commentary team. I don't mean crack as far as drugs, because drugs are bad, okay? Mikey, what say you about Mercedes?
If Mercedes Varnado is going to AEW, I will actually look forward to that, because I said it a few nights back. I want to hear her side of the story. And on an AEW stage with an AEW microphone, she can let loose and let all this frustration out. Yes. And there's not a damn thing Vince can do about it.
Unfiltered, unscripted, unrestricted.
She can tell her side of the story. I mean, what's Vince going to do? Go on to TNT, TBS, and try and pull the plug and try and buy the company so he can protect kayfabe and protect his? No, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, right now he's not.
Well, we're getting to that. So if she, because she's still been silent, we have not heard hide nor hair of her or Naomi ever. It's been almost going on 2-3 months now.
Correct.
And nothing. If she wants to continue the Star Wars universe, if she wants to do the Star Wars universe stuff still, if Star Wars will keep her around in that franchise, it's like you guys, like you said, it's something to fall back on other than wrestling. And I'm all for it, but don't be surprised if like she gets something kind of big in whatever big Star Wars project, and people will still be yelling, Sasha, why did you leave WWE? Sasha this, Sasha, Mercedes, you're gonna go back into wrestling.
Possibly.
That's where things are gonna go crazy. So I say go for it. Do it. Let's see it. Make it so.
Yeah.
Zach, I see your comment before we move on to the next person. She's not actually been released at all yet. She's still under contract.
But yes, it would be 90 days.
It would definitely be 90 if unless her contract is allowed to just roll, then no, she'd be free and clear.
Well, again, those lawyers might be the difference maker, especially being backed up by Snoop Dogg money.
JJ, yes, sir. Really quick before we move on.
It's funny, as Mikey was talking, I'm imagining a conversation between Tony Khan and her over the phone, much like Paul Heyman and Stone Cold.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Damn, kid, come up, drop money, come to promo.
Yeah, for real. Here's another thing. Here's one. Why not both?
Well, yeah.
Like, that's another thing. I think a lot of people forget that, Mercedes' schedule, if she went to AEW, would be a lot more free to do outside projects.
Exactly.
So she could do both if she really wanted to. And case in point, not on necessarily the same level, but Moxley. He was wrestling practically everywhere as much as he could, even though it was the height of the pandemic. Created a movie, created a passion project that he was passionate about, did that.
Wrote his book.
Wrote his book. When the pandemic lifted, he was wrestling practically everywhere. Still is pretty much doing that now. His schedule.
Heavyweight champion.
There's a lot more freedom in AEW than there is in the WWE to do stuff like this. And if she were to utilize that schedule, that could be a benefit plus for both parties involved, because if she were to go to Star Wars and use her real name to generate buzz in The Mandalorian and other projects relating to Disney movies like voice dubbing and all this other stuff, then she can she can bring that audience over that she got from her initial hype in The Mandalorian over to AEW. I mean, and not even just in Disney, but anything really. Like, because keep in mind, like, Rock didn't just do Disney movies.
No.
So, she could do anything. And then if she could bring that audience over to All Elite Wrestling, that's a much needed boost for their not even just their women's division, but their product overall. And keep this in mind as well. I know a lot of people are going to bring up the Nielsen ratings, as we mentioned. That's crap. We don't have all the figures, but if we're just judging by that, she was still like the number 2 rated freaking person every Monday night on Raw.
Yeah.
And she was like number 3 on SmackDown, minute by minute. So she's a name. And if you are wondering, here's another thing that I think a lot of people forget. And this is why I say Nielsen box is not the end-all, be-all. All it takes is a simple Google search away and a click on Wikipedia to realize they're still wrestling.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, what is this company? All Elite Wrestling. Oh, let me check this out.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
Yep.
So there's a lot more potential benefits for both parties here, or for all 3 parties practically. For Disney, for AEW, and for most importantly, Mercedes Bernardo.
And honestly, there's potential for WWE to just be like, you know what? We already have a bad rep as it is. Let's just cut this loose and be done. I mean, really. JJ.
The only problem I foresee, James, for what you mentioned about her doing both, wouldn't be as much of a problem in the beginning, but as she becomes more successful, you run into the issue that The Rock has now with the insurance and everything. And you
Right.
know, if she's
Yeah.
wrestling for AEW and she gets injured, then she holds up production on whatever she's doing for Star Wars or whatever role she's in.
Yep.
If she's doing
I can't
a
see that
movie or a TV show or something and AEW needs her for a major angle, what if she's not free? What if she doesn't have a day off?
Right. That is true.
That's
Look
the
at all
only problem
I
there.
only
you
I
know.
only go by the idea that they only work 1 day a week besides
Right.
pay-per-view weeks.
Yeah, right. But think of it this way: as little as he does appear when he does come off of the Forbidden Mountain, if you will, look how long it took him to break the John Cena glass again because of outside projects. He has to be completely schedule free. Then he calls Vince and go, "All right, boss man, let's do the thing."
Look at the Rock Roman thing. You know, if we are going to get that for Mania,
That's a big if.
Yep.
most of Rock stuff is in post production right now.
Right.
Aside from red carpet, press tours, you know, maybe a reshoot or two, his schedule is clear until WrestleMania next year.
I was going to say, how much have you seen of press of Rock doing current filming other than reshoots for Black Adam? The answer is none.
That is true.
He is making sure we all believe the schedule's being freed up. So, yeah, it is a bitch to do both. JJ's right, but it is doable. You just have to know, every person has to know their limits. Man, woman, whatever gender you classify under. I will say this, and I'll throw a note here real quick. We're talking about Forbidden Door next week, and we're going to get into that in the plugs, I promise. We're going to talk about Forbidden Door.
Excellent.
There are Forbidden Doors all over this image right here. Figure Mercedes can go to AEW, which means she can go to Japan. She can go to the NWA. She can go to Impact. She can go to wherever. She can go into a galaxy far, far away, which means she can cross through the Multiverse store, into Marvel, into any Disney project they feel she is a good fit for.
She could be the voice of the next Disney princess.
Like her song, either the original or the remix with her cousin says, sky's the limit if this image becomes a reality, either way.
Yep.
It just has to happen, Noah, am I right?
Yeah, and that really what it comes down to, confirmation versus right now where it's all just speculation and observation. There's no doubt in my mind that Sasha Banks, a.k.a. Mercedes, is going to do whatever she deems worthy. We look right now at two universes, the universe of entertainment and the universe of professional wrestling. Where the two collide primarily under WWE Sports Entertainment, she had all she could stand. She could not stand no more. In one of those two aspects, she felt disrespected, and she was tired of their shit. Simple as that. We've heard how Mercedes has been encouraged and inspired by the likes of Eddie Guerrero to even get into this industry of professional wrestling in the first place. We know she can thrive in the entertainment industry because of Snoop Dogg, per se. That's been a heavy influence on her, and we also have that connection with her.
Which, by the way, we haven't even touched on the fact that if she wanted to, she could go into the music industry too. Like that's
exactly.
Another
okay.
avenue.
It comes down to what Mercedes feels comfortable in doing. If WWE snuffed her passion out of professional wrestling, I clearly see her doing something strictly in some sort of format in the media entertainment industry. If they have not snuffed out her passion in professional wrestling, that nearly caused Tony Storm to retire altogether from the industry, as exposed on Renee Paquette's podcast or her sessions, then she could go anywhere in the world of pro wrestling now that she's free. AEW, again, allows you to be only micromanaged to a degree and work wherever. It really comes down to what this incredible athlete, talent, this unique individual that has graced our screens in both the entertainment and wrestling industry decides to do with the rest of her life. Whether she wants to cross both facets or dedicate herself to only one. Maybe take time off and meditate on the idea too. either one of these is entirely possible, but it comes down at the end of the day what she chooses to do. Because at the end of the day, she just wants to be happy and comfortable in whatever she hopes to spend the rest of her life doing. And at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about putting herself forward. It's putting whatever she's doing forward. And that's what this all really stems to. Because again, she didn't want to be in that creative spot that they were trying to do that not only degraded what she was trying to do with this title, but also what she was trying to elevate with the women's division too. And that's the thing. Right now, this stems to the fact that she feels disrespected as a professional wrestler and the outlook of women's professional wrestling. We're not so much figured about has there been any sort of disagreements per se in the entertainment industry, or has she been, impelled per se to get heavily more involved in the entertainment industry. We're just going to have to wait and see when she finally speaks up on her own behalf. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it's with Renee Paquette on Oral Sessions. But both of these are just the tip of the iceberg in the endless possibilities that awaits for Mercedes.
Yeah.
Comes down to what we finally hear from her, not what we read.
I think just to kind of add to your point, Noah, as well. What you said about her feeling disrespected in wrestling, I guarantee you there are plenty of people in the back, men and women, but if we'll stick with the gender here, that feel the exact same way, and you can tell by the way they smile. And I've been saying for years, you can tell Sasha's forcing it. And I don't blame her, because that's what you got to do if you're in a company like this. You got to try to do with what you have. She tried for so long, and she just couldn't do it anymore. And there's going to be a lot more that happens to that. It was happening to Rhea Ripley before she ended up joining Judgment Day. It was happening to Liv Morgan for a little while. It was happening to Naomi. It's still happening now. She's the other person that walked off. There's going to be more of these. So what can you do? It's just, this is the system. If you're going into the WWE, good on you. That's fine. You made it. Know that this is what you're getting into.
Exactly.
And also keep in mind, in WWE, you don't go there to be a professional wrestler. You go there to be created as one of Vince McMahon's sports entertainers.
Yeah. Yep.
His vision.
Exactly. All right. We are now on to the main event of the evening. Let me go ahead and get back over where I need to be. Hang on. There it is. All right. Before any of y'all say a word, let me just say this real quick.
Go for it.
I need to thank these two gentlemen in front of us here. I'll tell you why.
Lots of money.
Pretty much. I really. So the first, where am I at here? Okay. The first 11 days of this month, my revenue was under $9, right?
Mm.
As of now, just in June, I'm almost at $27.
Yeah.
So, again, I've tripled the revenue in a week because of these two guys and their screwed up lives. It's, I mean, I hate to sound so cold and callous about it, but it pretty much is what it is. JJ, you and I kind of said our piece on Vince this week. I know that Mikey, you talked about Jeff Hardy on Talk Wrestling with me last week, so we'll go to you first, and we'll get your thoughts on Mr. McMahon's shenanigans, and then we'll move on to James and Noah to talk about both of them. But I do want to give JD really quick and a chance to say anything else you wanted to add to what you offered up on my shows this week on NoDQ Review regarding either of these gentlemen.
I'll wait to go to the end. That way I can kind of piggyback off of what else may be brought up and mentioned in the meantime.
Very good. By the way, I did see the comments, so I apologize. Zach, the only way I see Tony backing up the truck for Mercedes is if she's not going to lean toward wrestling and strictly with Disney, because I think her going with AEW would be minorly problematic as far as their partnership with Warner Media. HBO Max could be an issue down the line. That's the reason I would see Tony backing the Brinks truck up. And yeah, Joe.
even
knows he
then,
wants. So
I will say this though. Even then, if she doesn't do any more Disney stuff, Warner Brothers could come knocking for somebody like Mercedes Renato.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Sasha Banks versus Jade Cargill. Jade versus Melina.
Yeah. Let me count the ways this can be awesome. James, I'm going to go and jump right to James after Mikey. But Mikey, anything you wanted to say about Mr. McMahon?
Oh boy, talking about opening the floodgates on this one.
Right.
Do I need another can of Mountain Dew?
I messaged you that morning or that afternoon, and I had no idea that Vince stepped down. I had no idea this was going on.
Oh man, yeah, it got crazier as the minutes went on. It seemed like.
And then there's I read the story, hush money, allegations of an affair, $3 million. WWE's investigating. Vince is cooperating. Yeah. Well, let's see. If you're cooperating, then this really must have happened. And if this is true and Vince had an affair, then I have lost a lot of respect for Vince McMahon, because you have broken one of the biggest promises that anybody can make to anybody, saying, I'm going to love, honor, and cherish the woman I intend to marry until death do us part. You screwed up big time, Vince, and that is almost unforgivable, And then you're going to give this person $3 million of probably company funds, because that's why WWE is investigating. If it was his own money, his own personal out-of-pocket money, none of this would be happening. But maybe it is company. See, I don't know all the details on this, so it's all allegedly and whatnot. So, and then Vince is going to show up on SmackDown. Okay, what's he going to say? I mean, there was a press release out of Stanford, even CNN brought this up, and Vince is stepping down. Vince knew what he was going to say, but he didn't say what the fans wanted him to say. He just wanted to make a quick appearance and walk off.
Yep.
If this is a pending investigation and he's not allowed to say anything about it, then that's the way he is. And he said what he said. And
he should be on TV in the first place then.
Yeah. We'll get through this together. Let me remind you, we're then now forever together. So we're going to get through this together. I didn't even get to see it live. I was having issues with my cable provider. So I was on SmackDown, I was focusing more on Riddle versus Roman. And let me give a quick shout out to Riddle. Great match, excellent match. Riddle can hold his own. Yeah, I mean, when this last week when this match came up, I said, Riddle's going to get eaten alive, but he put on a good match. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. So big props for that. I don't think that Vince is going to be able to save his personal life. I mean, if there really was an affair, then Linda's going to have every right to be upset if she doesn't already know about it. If she does know about it, we haven't heard from Linda since she resigned her position in Trump's cabinet, so we don't know what Linda's doing.
Or should we have by now, because she's better off staying quiet. So shame too. ...
Yeah, I mean, we'll
big time ...
Will Vince, get through this professionally? Yes. Personally, he's screwed.
Well,
hell, you no fury like a woman scorned. Well, you scorned your wife there, Vince, and you screwed up big time. If I don't even know what John Laurinaitis' plan is. Was he like the guy that went to this person and said, "Oh, here's $3 million from your Uncle Vince. Be quiet. Don't say anything." I mean, come on. That's just pure stupidity in my eyes. I mean, nothing, and apparently, nobody is safe, even in your own company. If you're at that top level, if you're looking over your WWE kingdom, you're still being in check. You're not Hitler. You're not a dictator. You've got people watching you. It's called the board. That's the way business is. You can't just have the times of I'm the boss, I'm in charge, I say what happens, this is it, my law doesn't work like that. You are responsible for your own mistakes. And Assemble the High Council was a movie I remember it. It's like nobody's above the law, not even Mr. McMahon. So
that's right. So before we move on to James's comments about the old man, because we heard all about his thoughts on Jeff Hardy, and we know how much James loves Vince anyway. Couple things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couple things. First of all, Vince has admitted to affairs before. So this is not new. Unfortunately, this is not new information from Vince, Mikey. Unfortunately, like I said, very unfortunately, it's not a new thing. But the fact is like you said, the hush money involved is definitely a major component of, oh shit, this is really bad. Flat out. So
no sugarcoating that.
It's only going to get worse if it comes up that there was actually corporate funding rather than Vince McMahon out of pocket. All right. Let me just say right now, James, remember, James, you've not met Vince McMahon. You don't know Vince McMahon personally. So breathe in, breathe out, and begin.
Okay. I'm going to start off with a quote from Maria Kanellis' Twitter. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to touch on Jeff Hardy the quickest way possible.
Okay, cool.
There's one part of Jeff that I forgot to mention that I because there were so many people and I was just going off the limb.
Yes.
One thing I did forget to say.
He done forgot, damn it.
He is. The bottom line is this, and I'm just going to be blunt with it. The reason why he gets addicted is because of his spots, and the reason why he continues to do his spots is because he's one trick pony in the ring and is a lazy, sad little man.
Yes.
When it comes to wrestling ability. Whereas Matt is the more tactical and more creative brother.
Agreed.
No lies detected there.
That would be my last thoughts on Jeff Hardy.
Not when he's lying.
I will say it in the NoDQ article coming soon, probably either by Monday or Tuesday. You will see it on NoDQ.com. Now back to Vince. I'm gonna read off a quote from Maria Kanellis.
All right.
Isn't it disrespectful to the women hurt in this situation? It's not a joke. WWE's company culture of fear and abuse of power is not a joke. And therein lies the problem.
Yep.
And why I would say this, despite not knowing the man personally, to his smug face.
Right.
I'll say, and not even just in a picture that JJ took of him. And listen, if you've had a picture with Vince McMahon, cool. I have no issue with you.
No.
You got a picture with Vince McMahon, and that's an honor for you. And at the time, a lot of us, didn't know of these things existing. Right. For the longest time, I didn't really know. I thought he was just playing a character when I was a kid. Right. And then I found out a lot about the man behind the character. And what I found out was not pretty. And it was stuff like this. Yep. Hush money is not a new thing in WWE when it comes to Vince McMahon. And trying to cover up some horrific incidents and tragedies, and even minute stuff like sex in the office. But specifically when it comes to, there's a lot worse that he's covered up. Do we need to go over Nancy Argentino again?
Nope.
Do we need to go over how many women he himself and other people have sexually assaulted, allegedly?
No.
Do we need to go over the Pat Patterson incident?
No, God, no.
That he covered that up too?
Oh yeah,
there's way worse that he's covered up. This is just the latest in the slew of shit that he has covered up for years upon years. I have been saying this from day effing one. This dude is a piece of shit. When I found out he was a piece of shit, I have not stayed away from that opinion. And I'm not one of these internet tough guys ever. And I don't plan on fighting Vince, but I'd say this to his face. And I wouldn't be scared. What am I going to be scared of? To what? Him hitting me and assaulting me like he did with all those other interviews, like he's a freaking man-child?
Right.
Because they actually call him out on this shit? What, I'm supposed to be scared of that? I could just charge that dude for assault and I'd be the richest man in Massachusetts. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Never have, never will when I found out how much of a piece of shit you were.
Right.
And apparently, you watch every now and again because, you met Jeff on a personal level, you met JJ on a personal. So I hope you watch this, you piece of shit.
Oh, man.
I hate you.
Oh,
I hate how you treat your employees. I hate how you treat your independent contractors, which shouldn't be independent contractors. I hate how you take zero responsibility when you fuck up on something. That's what I hate the most. If there's one thing I can't stand more than anything else, it's when you actually screw up on something and then refuse to acknowledge that you screwed up on something. Oh, and by the way, not for nothing, but your abusive past ain't a crutch anymore. Never was. Because you know what? I was abused. I had an abusive relationship. You see me using that as a crutch every freaking time I do something wrong? No. If I do something wrong, I'm going to come and tell you that I did something wrong before anybody else can. Most of the time. Not great on that all the time, but I at least tried. I have yet to see you try. Once! When it comes to shit like this. Why don't you ask Rhea Ripley, see how she felt since she's been in the WWE and how depressed she was when you started getting your grubby little paws on Black and Gold NXT. You want to go over that? Just minute shit like that. And the culture that you yourself appropriate. Right. Inside that locker room. That's on you. You want to know why everybody's leaving for AEW and all these other companies? It's because of you. And everybody has said as much. Everywhere on every publication that has ever existed ever. The proof is right there.
Proof is in the pudding.
And you don't want to admit to any of it. That's what pisses me off more than anything else. You truly do not give a single shit. Not only to us fans. We already knew that. We came to that conclusion freaking the night after WrestleMania that you really didn't give a shit. It was more the fact that you truly did not care about anybody ever. The only person you cared about is yourself. You don't give a shit about Linda. You don't give a shit about
And the award for Rant of the Night goes to James.
You don't give a shit about Shane. I'm not even done. I'm not even done.
This is Man of the Month, but he's not done. Well, wait, there's more.
You don't give a shit about Shane. You never have. And it's funny that you let him cut the promo that he did in 1998, which was real. That was real, what he said. And it still felt to this day. You know why? Because he went into business for himself and said, fuck this asshole. I'm done with him. You know, flesh and blood. Stephanie McMahon You put her right in the firing line. Right after she wanted to step down, you put her right back in the firing line.
Okay, gotta stop you there. Gotta stop you there. Because he didn't put her there. The committee investigating this put her in that spot. Like I said, I have no problem with your opinion on this.
You know what? Fair enough, actually. Never mind. That statement's redacted. Nevertheless, there are plenty of times you've thrown your own daughter under the bus before.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when is enough for you, Vince?
Right.
Just curious. When is going to be that moment where you go and actually admit that you did something wrong? When is it?
Never.
And now you know why. Noah gave the answer. Now you know why I don't give a rat's ass if this dude is no longer with us. Sorry. Don't care. Because you have to be like we joke that it's not like that anymore. Like Statboy just brought up how you're not a dictator. You can't do stuff like that anymore. Well, you know what? In a different lifetime, he would have been a Hitler.
Ooh, okay. All right. We're good. That's it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. I could be wrong. Maybe he could have had a different upbringing, but his mentality with stuff like this infuriates me. Always has and still will.
I understand that, James, but I'm asking you nicely now to please stop.
So, I was done anyway.
Okay. Noah, if you have any opinion on what happened with Vince as far as this goes, please take us home, then we'll get to the promotions.
You already know where I stand when it comes to any sort of topics of discussion like this that blur the lines between business and personal. Vince McMahon has always been one with a shady record. He encourages that. He welcomes that type of behavior, presentation, representation towards him. He breathes, eats, and sleeps off controversy. He's a man on the Pat McAfee podcast, per se. And at the end of the day, literally everything that this man does comes down to one word: business. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever adjective you want to put in front of it. Business. This storyline right here has brought more mainstream attention worldwide than anything the WWE has done in a long damn time.
Right.
You've heard that some even say this surpasses the steroid case. And that very well might be, because this goes above and beyond the perception of human morality. Not just how it affects his family, but how it affects an entire society, a work environment, a Democrat per se. If you literally find out that this is true, this is damaging not to Vince McMahon, because I truly feel like he doesn't give a damn, but this is irreparable damage, I feel like, to the entire image of the WWE. And it's going to have a domino effect with everybody coming in and out of this company from the ground up.
Absolutely.
But again, it's observation. It's not 100% confirmation. As you said, it's an investigation. And the other thing we got to take in consideration, he still is heavily involved, and I think the head of
head of creative still.
Yeah, still.
Because he is not the total totalitarian dictator of this company. Again, he was on a board, no longer part of that. There are 12 figureheads that control the in and outs from the ground up of the WWE. He's no longer a part of that, or at least the position that he was part of. He has lost tremendous power, and now we'll see what Vince McMahon can do going forward to help move forward the branding and the image of this company until this is settled. Yes. As far as what Vince McMahon did, does, and what's to come, that's all up in the air. Because the only thing that should matter to us as fans right now, do we still actually care about this company to support it in any sort of way? Talent involved, presentation, champions, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam. Does that actually matter? Or in The Rock's opinion, it doesn't matter, or it's quote unquote. that really what that comes down to. The fact that we fans are so connected with something that goes way above us.
Yes.
As far as our input, our control, our overall verdict per se. It's not like we're going to be in front of Vince McMahon in a courtroom closing this case. For us, it comes down to how it affects us fans when it comes to what we watch and if we want to support this company following the outcome of this. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. Again, it's another one of those cases because at the end of the day, what you hear about Vince McMahon, that only affects truly Vince McMahon right now. When this closes, that affects everything else. But it's still business as usual as far as what we see on TV.
There we go. All right. Well said, boys. Okay, so let me go ahead and close. Where am I at here?
You were going to come back to me, remember?
Yes, Jay. I'm sorry, JJ. James is thinking we threw me off, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
By the way, let me just put this out there in case this probably shouldn't be obvious. The views that I say are not the views of everybody in this panel. So if you're going to direct hate at somebody, go ahead and direct it at me. I can take it. And I'll even admit, I was probably out of line with that comment that I mentioned.
I'm surprised Jeff didn't MJF or CM Punk you. Cut off your microphone.
I'll be honest. I'll even admit that I deserve that.
Don't give me ideas, Foster. Okay.
To be fair, Jeff has always been one that has been opposed to censorship. So even if he doesn't agree 100% with what you're saying, he'll still at least let you finish your thought before he cuts you off and is like, okay, that's enough.
JJ knows why that comment hit home, and we'll talk about it off air, brother. Don't worry.
He won't mute you and cut your microphone.
Right.
No. I won't do that.
But JJ, your stance on this entire Vince McMahon debacle.
I'm going to say three things here.
Please.
Okay. And the first two are statements about Vince. One that ties to the Vince situation, one that ties to the Hardy situation. And then I'm going to close it with a tweet.
Okay.
Okay. Right. In regards to the Jeff Hardy situation,
which I didn't talk about, but I don't got much to say. Continue, JJ.
We want to talk about the character of Vince McMahon. Big props to Tony Khan here because this went down. Jeff was pulled from his scheduled ladder match, tag title match.
Yes.
And told that he can come back if he gets the proper treatment.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Jimmy Uso gets a DUI. Gets allowed to compete in the tag title match that he was scheduled for.
Yep.
And wins the titles.
Yeah.
And gets paid. Jeff Hardy's not even getting paid because we want Jeff Hardy to get better.
You know, there right there shows the character of Vince McMahon.
Pretty much.
Business.
Okay. And Tony Khan very easily could have let the Hardys still go on because at the end of the day, whether we agree with the decision, disagree with it, and I think we all agree with what Tony did.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we were deprived of a tag team title ladder match with the Young Bucks and the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Yes, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were there. No disrespect to the champions defending their straps who lost their belts.
It was more
but we were denied a ladder match between the Young Bucks and the Hardys.
Yeah.
On free television, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, I mean, the last time you saw the Hardys and Young Bucks in the ladder match was not free television. It was a Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Regarding the Vince situation himself.
Yes.
This is the same man who allowed and served no repercussions for his, I believe at the time, World Heavyweight Champion Batista being in a car in the parking lot fucking Melina while both Batista's wife and Johnny Nitro were inside the building.
Yep. Accuracy.
This goes to speak on Vince McMahon's character.
Yes.
The tweets. You know, we talk about how
Tweeter.
You know, the look on people's face, and the people that work for the company, and that's what we have to remember in all this. There was a tweet on the tweeter that said, "Hell no, burn WWE to the ground." And Maria Kanellis, who we mentioned earlier, replied to that saying, "Let's not wish that."
Right?
There are a lot of good people that work there.
Exactly.
WWE employs hundreds of people.
Not just we see in the ring.
Let's just hope the company is bought out by some company that will treat it like a business and not a boys club.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Health insurance, retirement plans, parental leave.
Yeah.
Equality among both your men and women rosters.
Again, Maria and Mike have gotten a lot of flack since they left the WWE. Not from any of us because we know better, but from people within the WWE. But man, she hit it home right there. Bravo, sweetheart. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We started this with a tweet speaking negatively on the situation from her, and I just felt it was only right to bookend it with a tweet from her in a positive light.
Yeah, because people on Twitter have said things that are just, out of context without any sort of intelligence behind it. And then there are those tweets that are actually diplomatic and have some honesty behind them too, and a little bit of sympathy. Because at the end of the day, we got to consider not everybody that works under the WWE is, let's just put it bluntly, a misogynistic asshole.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So before we get to the actual plugs, I do want to, these are plugs in themselves, but I want to talk about how the Pro Wrestling Tees store has expanded by leaps and bounds just this week alone. So, of course, we started out with the Jeff Meacham Network design that Greg Cherry came up with for us. That was the first year when I won the Pro Wrestling Tees.
Nice.
Per the request of Statboy, we now have the Statboy Sports Bar featured Dory Lou shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. The back of that, I forgot to load the graphic, Mike, sorry, is their avatars, which is awesome. Cool. This went up this week. This is the main image. The anniversary of again, which is coming up in next month. I'm so excited about this.
Congratulations again, Jeff.
And Noah, just for you, this is in the queue waiting for approval.
What?
All
right.
Yes.
That is in their sheet lineup waiting to be checked off as a yes.
Until you paint that cage, a more realistic car that makes me believe it's an actual structure and not a crate where you took out the milk bottles. That is always going to be what I believe Hell in the Cell is.
Man, as soon as that is live, I am buying that shit.
And what is awesome?
Up on one of our pay-per-view calls wearing that.
I only get 4. I only get 4 until we start making more sales. We already have 2 of the Stat Boys shirts sold, so good on Mikey. But
he probably bought one, and Dory probably bought one.
You know what? Don't out it on the air, asshole. Anyway,
sell your own merch.
Kayfabe, motherfucker, kayfabe. Anyway, Jesus. All right, so now it is time for the
and
plugs.
before we get into the main plugs, let's spend a moment to seriously hype our next open mic night.
Yeah,
before we get into the individual shows, because I am looking forward to this. Hell, James is looking so forward to this. He freaking messaged the group chat asking if this could be a 20-match 2-night card.
What the hell, James?
Bro, you don't understand, bro. Not only do I have a 20, not only do I have a 2-night card, I have a whole tour for the whole week. That's how many matches I was able to think of, like just off the top of my head. So, like, it's almost like I've joined your bookings for quite a while.
See, and I told him, I was like, a 2-night card might be easy for you, might be easy for Noah to come with.
Right.
But when you figure Jeff isn't a fan of fantasy booking in the first place.
Yes.
When you figure the fact that I don't really know the New Japan guys, except for what little bit of the crossover I know there is between them and AEW.
Right.
When you figure that I'm just treading the water of AEW and Impact, I've only got 8 matches booked. I'm going to be racking my brain this next week trying to come up with 2 matches just to have my full 10.
Right.
And JJ, to support your point, remember, I'm just a simple commentator at heart as a professional wrestling fan, and I have 0 written down right now.
Well, there you go.
And then Mikey, I don't know if he's going to participate in this or not, but he's probably in the same, wheelhouse as me and Jeff, where his knowledge of the other companies is slim at best.
Right.
To be able to come up with, 6 or 7 matches, let alone 10, let alone a 2-night WrestleMania caliber 20 match thing, James. Jesus fucking Christ. Y'all trying to give us a stroke over
Jesus
here?
Christ!
JJ dropping the
Thank you, bro.
name bomb here tonight. Good grief.
Well said.
But for all of you that are still with us here at 10:20 on the Pacific Coast and God knows 1 o'clock, whatever, 1:30 almost
1:30, shit.
on the East Coast, make sure you guys tune in next Friday for myself, Jeff, Noah, and James. Staffboy, if he can come up with it, he's more than welcome. Our Forbidden Door fantasy booking. Immediately following Rampage on all the channels, Jeff Meacham Network affiliated. Man, I am so looking forward to this show because, as I've stated a few times on the air, the pay-per-view itself just doesn't feel special to me. Because there's so many talents that are New Japan that are also AEW talents. So it's like, how forbidden of a door really is it?
Right.
And then you've even got an AEW championship, the women's title, that is being defended between 2 AEW talents.
Yeah.
You can't save that for Rampage. You can't save that for Dynamite. You're seriously going to put that in a spot on this Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Yeah. Not a fan.
There's other matches that are being announced that definitely have my interest. Osprey versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh, gosh.
The 3-way winner take all for the ROH and IWGP tag titles.
Yes.
Those definitely have my interest peaked.
Yeah, no kidding.
The rest of the card?
Jay White against whoever, freaking take my money. I haven't seen JJ White on a live pay-per-view since, except for Japan, when my groggy ass has been like, oh, it's Jay White. Cool.
Yeah.
But the rest of the card, as someone who's not really acclaimed and accustomed to the talent, I'm just like,
I feel you.
Again, it's about the connection, JJ. And kudos to you, my friend, who at the end of the day, you are in this to assess and experience. Because as I subtly heard from commentary, JR said, I quote, he believes that this Forbidden Door is going to set a bar for what he hopes or believes is going to be an annual showcase to come. And personally, I hope he's right. But also, I do hope the Forbidden Door goes beyond in the future AEW and NJPW. Because like I said, Impact, NWA, the rest of the world of professional wrestling, damn it, all should be a part of this Forbidden Door. Because when I think of Forbidden Door, I think of the internet wrestling industry coming together and celebrating why we love this so much.
Exactly.
And personally, right now, I look at All In being more of a demonstration of that than this Forbidden Door, because right now Forbidden Door is exclusive to 2 companies.
Yeah. And keep in mind, to those of us that are watching, this isn't just AEW. This isn't just New Japan. We are opening the door to Impact and WWE for these matches.
Right.
So you're going to get some true Forbidden Door style fantasy booking.
Yes. And for everybody there bitching about that the NWA is not involved in our Forbidden Door fantasy booking, hold up, because we have your NWA fix coming up. It is official. NWA 74 is 2 nights. We covering that shit on the network. Don't you worry, kids.
Yes, I was disappointed I couldn't do Always Red. God bless my aunt that was let me able to cash me 30 minutes into the show, and I got to see Colin Key versus Camille, my match of the night. But I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff, JJ, and I will be bringing you play-by-play, celebrating legacy and tradition.
Well,
NWA.
You and I, yes. No, JJ, I'm not sure because he doesn't watch. Go ahead.
So it's a question mark right now.
Yeah, it's a question mark. Yeah, he doesn't watch
A lot of
Power.
that
He watches it on the
depends-
regular, but you know,
A lot of it
That's fair.
depends on my situation at that time.
Yes.
If things go the way we're hoping to, then it'll be a yes.
all
Fair
right.
enough, brother.
So now,
But yeah,
chronologically, God help us, here we go. Of course, you can check out everything No DQ has to offer. We're not No DQ tonight, but I'm going to get in the rub because that's where I started after all, 20 years
Say
ago.
yes
So
to No DQ.
the recaps of TV, the No DQ review every week. Again, JJ made his No DQ review debut last week. James has made his debut on that show recently. I'm, as of right now, going to be on this Thursday, but that is still very much up in the air. But yeah,
We just
always
need to get Stat Boy on there, and the entire panel has been on there at some point.
we
Pretty
do.
much.
We definitely gave everybody on there, no doubt about it. So that's throughout the week with NoDQ.com. You can check them out every day. There's something going on down there. All right.
God
We
bless
start the
everybody.
week with Mr. JJ Williams and his review of Mortal Kombat coming up at 3 p.m. Pacific. I didn't say Eastern on purpose. That's his review of Mortal Kombat as he continues his month of June of movies with only one sequel because Wednesday he is at Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So there is that. Following his review of Mortal Kombat, we're of course going to be back with the dads, always on wrestling, and our latest episode of Ask the Dads, and that's it is the right. I actually used the right graphic. I'm so proud of myself.
Yay, not a bot.
So, no botch. The botch will happen. It will be a thing. I promise.
Well, I'm sure.
I'm ready to say it. Continue.
Right before it. So yeah, that's of course live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Tuesday, of course, Talk Wrestling across the Meacham Multiverse. All 4 channels that I've been on Talk Wrestling now for the past year, so that's a normal thing. Again, Wednesday is JJ's review of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, followed almost immediately at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific by the Greg Cherry Show. And again, Greg Cherry is busy this week because he starts out our Thursday, as do I. I'm back on Jack of All Trades, and I'm one of the 4 challengers coming up for the Jack of All Trades Championship. And he has told me what he has planned for July. We hope it goes through. But this show, there's no, I don't see the time on there. I apologize for that. That is at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Followed,
Greg,
hopefully, by, if not concurrently with, Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5 review, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. Because the series concludes this coming Wednesday, so we'll definitely be looking forward to your review of that to end the month of June. But the next 2 Thursdays will be JJ's final 2 of this show, so be sure you look out for it. You did mention on this week's show that reviews have been shorter because of the content been allowed to you through the use of reading things. So hopefully the content from Friday, this last week's episode, and the finale will boost it because last week's show was good. So
yes,
that'll be cool. Thursday also, after Obi-Wan Kenobi's review, Noah for sure, me for sure, will be talking. And yes, we're actually going to do this one. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, with the history of New Japan hit in the United States of America. America, damn it. And then Friday, JJ it begins the conclusion of his month of one. Actually, I take that back. Just kidding. There it is.
Botch.
Thank you. Friday, he reviews Kick-Ass on Renegades Reviews, and then Monday he completes the set with Kick-Ass 2. That's Monday.
Oh, good Lord.
In between, of course, we mentioned our Forbidden Door fantasy booking. That's going to be probably the best show we do all week, just because we're all together and shenanigans will ensue, and it's going to be a hell of a card.
And I gotta say, I've only got 3 one-on-one encounters booked for this.
Wow.
Everything else is multi-man style format because I feel that when you're doing a Forbidden Door, you really need that participation in just about every kind of match.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
so
my
there's a
thoughts,
lot
too.
of triple threats, a lot of fatal 4-ways, that type of stuff that I have booked. Just as a heads
Bless
up.
you. Sorry, Dylan's in the other. So
nice one, JJ.
Saturday is JJ's last new release. Next Saturday, new release Saturday of the month with a movie that, get this, Jay, Dylan's actually seen this already.
Nice.
So I'm going to see what he thinks of your review of it. It is Hustle. It's a Netflix exclusive. Adam Sandler et al. It actually looks pretty good on paper. I'm going to have to check it out myself.
Yeah, it's a drama. It's got comedic elements to it, but it's a much more serious role for Adam Sandler.
Very much more serious than when with Adam.
Has mostly just been associated with comedy, as far as I'm aware, and yeah, he's also one of those up there with The Rock as far as his legacy in Hollywood. Good grief.
Yes, very rare to see dip into the dramatic stuff. I actually did not put this in the right place, so forgive me. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead here. But before I do that, JJ, of course, is on Sunday with episodes of The War Zone, his weekly acquisition reports. Of course, where JJ he talks about his latest acquisitions in the DVD and Blu-ray world.
And that will be all secondhand store finds.
Which is always a good thing. Always support the local stores, kids. Always, 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 always. Don't.
Where it all begins.
It really does. So Tuesday before I go on the air, and I forgot to mention this, so I do apologize. Aaron and the NoDQ team will be previewing Forbidden Door. That's coming up on Tuesday night at, of course, the 7 o'clock Eastern 4 Pacific. Followed after this and NXT, of course, by yours truly on Talk Wrestling. Sunday, of course, is the big day next Sunday. The Forbidden Door opens at the United Center, which, if you're an NWO fan, a WCW fan, a Chicago Bulls fan, United Center, if you're a SummerSlam 94 fan, United Center is where it's at, and this is where it's going to be going down in Chicago. AEW versus New Japan, or so it's booked, or marketed. Anyway.
I'm going to be curious to see people's thoughts between the matches we booked for Forbidden Door.
Yes.
And what's on the actual card, and which show they would prefer to put money down for.
Yes, because you figure by the time we take the air for our prediction show on Friday, Rampage will be in the books. So we will know the card for Sunday.
And there'll be a countdown special following Rampage that I'm definitely going to watch ahead of Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Yep. Which means you'll watch it after us because you'll be live with us.
Exactly.
Okay, very good. Okay, just and again, Monday next week now. So Monday, where I leave off here? Where am I?
Monday
there
next
I am.
week.
Monday next week. Again, JJ kicks off the week with Kick-Ass 2.
There you go.
Dad's, Not Always Wrestling, celebrates 20 years of a man you cannot see, but we're going to try our best. At 3 p.m. Did I botch the time on that? No, I did. I put it at 2:30. Woohoo! Okay, cool.
These are going to be all the matches that Vacant has won and why he is
right.
the winningest champion in WWE history.
That's right. That's right. This is better than Randy Orton walking into the Air Canada Center in those damn nasty ass peach tights and finding the world title. This is all people you can't see involved. Damn it, we love it. Okay. So that's Monday night, before Raw. Of course, Aaron will have his recap of Raw after that. Tuesday night, Aaron, the 28th, Aaron and the team will preview Money in the Bank. This Wednesday, the 29th, Wednesday 29th is actually JJ's final day of reviewing Movies Only One sequel, because this year brought to us the sequel of, God damn it, Top Gun.
Yes!
And Top Gun Maverick. So JJ actually premiered the trailer for this on the review this last Wednesday. He's reviewing both movies in the same show. So, looking forward to it, brother.
I'm going to be there for that one, JJ.
I dig it. So, Thursday
They'll be
and Friday.
the same day, but there'll be two separate shows. There'll be one at 3, and then 3:30 will be the sequel.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yep.
I just like how my graphic turned out. So
No, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't want to falsely advertise, because then it's going to end up stretching to like a full show. I like to give myself the little break in between.
You got to.
Don't blame you.
So that's the 29th. So Thursday is technically an off day. We're not, as far as I know, other than usual NoDQ review stuff, which I'm sure one of us will be on. But Friday, July 1st, of course, first day of July, JJ kicks off a new month, and it's all about the Disney Renaissance, to be precise.
Except for the new release stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say that bottom right corner is new releases. Yes, he is reviewing Lightyear, which I'm looking forward to seeing that soon. Spiderhead, Elvis, and the new Thor movie, all on new release Saturdays throughout the month of July for JJ, of course, with the War Zone and the Disney Renaissance, going from Beauty and the Beast all the way until the extremely goofy movie. So there is.
I've seen 8 of these movies.
I love it. I dig it.
Way to go, Noah! For a simple man who likes wrestling and doesn't really get into much else, you've seen 8 of the movies. Yay!
I was a child one time before I knew what professional wrestling was.
We was not kids. So So, okay, for the record, even living with this man, even growing up Disney much life, I still, to this day, have not seen the second Pocahontas movie. That's it. I actually have finally seen the other ones I hadn't seen, Mulan and the other ones in the Renaissance.
Not counting the new releases on here, the only Disney movies I have not seen are Tigger movie, Fantasia 2000, the second Pocahontas,
right?
Extremely Goofy movie, and believe it or not, and I feel like I'm going to get a bitch slap here from Tennessee, I've never seen Hercules all the way through.
What?
Watchamania.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm more surprised you haven't seen the Goofy movie.
I've fallen asleep through it.
Yeah.
But I have never seen it from start to finish.
Wow, JJ, that really surprises me because most of those movies I agree with you with until you said Hercules, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
well, I know
not...
the Greek over here was going to be the one to like seriously.
He's virtually trying to hit you over the head with a chair.
Hercules, I saw in the theater, walked out like, God damn, did I really just do that?
Let me put it to you this way. The song, You Know You're in Love, one of my favorite songs of all time from Disney movies, and it still hits me hard.
There you go.
What's really funny, one of the many character fan days they had at Disneyland during the brief time they actually was doing that, they had every major character from the movie except Hercules out and about meeting people. First time I ever met those people. The villain, again, the names completely escaped my mind, so forgive me. But, Esmeralda, the villain's name again, Jay?
Hades?
No. I'm sorry, not Hercules. I'm thinking Hunchback. I'm sorry.
I'm about to say Esmeralda. Wasn't that?
There it is. Gosh, there it is. Hunchback, I see. But yeah, yeah. I actually we did meet Hades once at one of the villains presentations. So we all did meet Hades. Right. I take that back. All right. Anyway, so that was
continue.
JJ has a packed July because we all know the Casa's love of the Disney.
And Mikey, if you need me to make it up to you, go back and watch this past week's episode of Dad's Top 10 Movie Soundtracks. Me and you and the old KLBC days get a lot of love on that show. And to the point where Jeff is trying to call up KLBC to get tapes of our broadcasts because he wants to hear that shit.
In public, if you will.
Wow.
So, all right then. As JJ is going through his month of awesomeness, we start Saturday the 2nd, of course, Money in the Bank. No, it's not Hush Money in the Bank, despite the awesome meme that came out this week.
Wow, that needs to be the Jeff Meacham coverage version. Hush Money in the Bank.
Oh my!
I think, Jeff, you need to do that.
That'll be shirt number 5 if I get there. Anyway,
so go right along with the Red Crate of Hate.
That's
Hush
right.
Money in the Bank.
That's right. Yeah, hey, if we're going to hell, we have a good Red Crate of Hate to protect us, and lots of hush money to spend while we're there. Anyway,
well, you know
go together, right? They go together.
For that one, I look forward to calling the action with Noah once again, like I did Hell in a Cell.
Definitely.
And that was an honor, a privilege, and I went back and I rewatched our show of that. Man, I'm impressed with the job that I did.
It really was.
Not to pat myself on the back, not to Arn Anderson and toot my own horn, but I'm impressed with how I did there.
You should be, man. You provide a lot of great analytical coverage while we provide a balance of what was going on without overshadowing your thoughts and just talking about every single thing, every single minute. It was a great, simple contrast for both nights. And truly, I was entertained and engaged thanks to you.
Thank you.
I'm still trying to learn that, to be fair.
We'll get there, brother. I promise we'll get there.
You and Casey both need to learn that.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
We'll get
there. Yes, we will definitely get there. All right, so Mondays in July, of course, Ask the Dads on 4th of July. I have my shirt already picked out for that. No, it won't be the one I wore during the Impact show because that's going to be in the wash. But the 18th. On the 11th, I think I threw it up here. At least I did too. There it is. Top 10 of Will Smith's greatest songs. And this was debated about coming off the schedule. It really was after what happened at the Oscars, but the heat's already so gone for that. It's like, F it, we'll leave it on there. Because I already forgot about that already.
The heat's off him, but with his wife.
Very much so. So there's that show on the 11th, and then the 25th was supposed to be the 22nd, which is why it was scheduled the way it was. But then I moved the Dad's Brand to Monday. Shawn Michaels' greatest matches coming up on July 25th. Stat Boy has been asked if he so chooses to. He's not officially a dad, but Shawn's his boy. So, and I've even talked about bringing Greg in if we can bring in a fourth. I know it's going to get convoluted, but we gave ourselves 2 hours. So,
I
we'll
think, y'all definitely, definitely
Quick
plan that out
question,
accordingly.
Jeff.
Well, if you saw Jeff, if you saw on the tweeter, just a day ago was the 5-year anniversary that we went and met good old.
Isn't that crazy? That was 5 years ago that you and I met him at Frankenstein's. Isn't that crazy? It's been that long.
Yeah, man. It was a great day that day. That was one of the best days ever.
So then we go further into July, and we'll talk about the 17th. It's not a wrestling stream per se, but it is on YouTube, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to get kicked off the YouTube and Facebook for it. I really don't care. But I'm going to Disneyland's opening day Sunday on a Sunday. So it's 67 years to the day, literally to the day that it opened. My dad and Dylan and I are all going for the first time that I've ever gone on Disneyland's birthday, and Dylan, and I'm pretty sure my dad as well. So that'll be cool. We're going to stream the entire ABC broadcast from that day, and then we're going to cut to us live in Anaheim as the show ends. So that'll be cool.
Fair enough.
Again, Jack of All Trades on the 21st. Y'all want to watch that if things go the way Greg hopes they go. And that's all I'm going to say. It's all I'm allowed to say before I get in trouble. And then we wrap up the month with our coverage of SummerSlam, with the post-show by night, of course. And then whoever wants to be a part of it, I'm definitely getting at least this show. So Ric Flair's last match will be the way we end July. But in between those 2 milestone Saturdays, Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, a huge milestone for yours truly, coming up on July 16th.
That's what's most important here.
The anniversary of Talk Wrestling. I can't even effing fathom it's been 15 years since I started doing that show. And again,
Jeff, congratulations again. Like I said, man, when I first discovered NoDQ in 2017 through Caitlin and then Aaron, and then being privileged and humbled to work with the likes of you, Cindy, and the entire NoDQ family, and seeing what my internet wrestling society outlook has become. Congratulations on how long you've been involved, keeping a showcase just like that and still going. Two of the things I should say I find most rewarding about that show in particular. Number one, without that show, these two wouldn't be in my life at all, because I wouldn't have sustained past the end of Talk Wrestling, the end of XMV in 2006, and I wouldn't have been able to. We met at PWG during the XMV run, yes, but I don't know if my having gone away after that would have sustained communication with these two on a regular basis as a result. And then through those two, getting onto the Casa after we fell out with NoDQ for a while. And now, like I said, here I sit. And then what I find so rewarding beyond that is Caitlin became a fan of the NoDQ product when I came back. And then she met Aaron through that, which I was like, shit. The rest is history.
Love connection. Call me Chuck Woolery and shit. For real. And I love that. And I love they were able to do the marriage. I'm bummed I wasn't there, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of was what it was, because the pandemic's a mucker feather. But that's all just coming up between tonight and the end of July. There's a lot more shit coming this year. And like I said, we've got NWA 74 in August. We've got, they announced Extreme Rules, I guess, in October. They're doing the Clash show in September. So there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. What's that?
Great American Bash.
Great American Bash for NXT coming up pretty soon. So
technically,
there's a lot of cool stuff. I wish beyond wishing that I could make it out to Nashville. I really do. And were it not for the actual cost of getting there, probably could. I probably could. Because it's just so inexpensive to fly or bus or train
or
that
drive.
far from here. Huh?
Yeah. Or drive.
Well, again, I don't drive personally, but the amount of gas I have to put in somebody's car would just like put it this way: the amount to travel to and from Nashville, I shit you not, is more than a full price of a package for StarCast and the least expensive ticket for SummerSlam.
Damn.
The entire StarCast package, including Flair's last match, if I was able to get into that, because I'm on the wait list, or I was, is costing less than just the travel to get out to Tennessee and back.
Yeah, that's
like,
the end doesn't justify the means there, James.
It really, you know what? The thing is, Noah, everything on StarCast, or as far as the panels, Ric Flair's roast and Flair's last match are all going to be on Fight.
Well, there you go.
And they're offering, I think, that package for, like $100 total.
That's usually what it is. Yeah.
It's like, okay. So it's like $100 for the weekend of StarCast. You know, I can sit here in my underwear if I really want to. Sorry for the mental image again, Mikey. I apologize. And then I already paid $10 a month for Peacock. So we're good to go.
There you go.
You know, that's where the father brain kicks in. It's like, okay, I can spend this money to go fly out there, or I can, actually save for my kid's trip to Disney World and his education and not do stupid shit like that.
In other words, Jeff, priorities before passions. You're brilliant.
Yeah. That's what it has to be. And on a day like Father's Day, where I know JJ and I are celebrating, we got our awesome gifties that we got from our chittens, which again we appreciate. Dylan, I know you're not watching because you're hopefully going to sleep. Yeah, right. It's summer vacation. Appreciate that. I'm so cool that Natalie got you, Bianca. I really appreciate you guys sending me the picture of the Tim Allen in the fat suit from the Disney cover of Santa Claus Funko. That was pretty friggin' cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like they actually made a Funko of Tim like in the pose on the cover with that ridiculous red fat suit. It's like they made a Funko the DVD cover. That just makes my friggin' day.
That's hilarious.
That's hysterical because JJ knows he's the Santa I most identify with now at this point. Yes, there will always be Edmund Wynn, without a doubt, the original on-screen Santa for me. But Scott Calvin's my freaking Santa spirit animal as an ambassador.
Fair.
So
that's perfectly fair.
Anything else anybody needs to get out there since we're getting into the 8-hour mark on this damn thing?
That's normal at this point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Jeff, you and I have a lot in common. We're both chick magnets for other guys.
I am so very much.
We repel them.
I am so very much the freaking mayor of the friend zone. I rule that shit. I sit my fat ass in City Hall.
Yeah.
On the regular. And Noah, as always, God bless him. He is single, and it's a choice, and we bless you for this. So, Noah's the smartest man in this room. As well as being the simple man.
I am not anymore. I haven't been for a while, but hello.
Well, there you go. But again, without Noah, there is no red crate. So there you go.
No matter how much I hate that dude, it will always be fun to do his impression. That is without it.
We're using his voice, and we're parodying something that he's completely botched and ruined for all of us anyway, so it's okay.
Lord.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm surprised they got through the freaking inspection, to be honest with you. It's like, whatever, dude. It's totally his fault, totally his gimmick, but whatever. Fire me! Fire me! I'm already fired! Well, go ahead, JJ, I'm sorry.
Who are you, Don Callis? Go ahead, JJ.
I wanted to bring one suggestion up. Came to my head as you were running through the graphics specifically for Ask the Dads and Dads. The Will Smith one. Do you think it would be possible if we bumped that up to 4th of July week? Since 4th of July was always Big Willie weekend at the box office.
True.
And that can be a pre-taped episode. That way 4th of July we can actually be with our families doing stuff.
Yep.
And then Ask the Dads can be on the 11th instead and do back-to-back weeks of Ask the Dads like we did this past month with you at Disneyland, and the week before was Ask the Dads as well.
I I am Jeff Meacham. I approve this message.
There you go. I guess I'll make it official.
It is official. There you go.
And that being said, Men in Black and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Fiend better be in your top 5.
Well, soundtrack-wise, I don't know. You know, they're both good. They're both good. No doubt about it. Where the hell's
Men in Black soundtrack was definitely up for consideration in my top 10 soundtracks, but it didn't crack the list.
Yeah, fair enough.
But-
There wasn't a whole lot besides that Men in Black
But
song.
but as far as Will Smith songs, I'm sure Men in Black will be on one or both of our lists.
Yeah. Just songs by themselves, Men in Black is just so, like, if I really thought about it for a second, I'm not gonna do this on the air because I know better than this. I can still do the dance, like the part where
For
he's
a
going.
$25 super chat, Jeff will do the dance for Men in Black.
That message was not approved by the boss before you said that out loud, so that doesn't count.
Get a super chat goal going during that panel, and then
Listen.
No. Hang on. We already established this before he came on the air. All proceeds this month go to milkshakes for our buddy Jesse.
Exactly. We did say that.
We had this conversation.
Also, let's just put this out there. Jeff is like, he is already dealing with enough post-concussion problems. Let's not add to that. No more. His brain hurts.
Okay, for real though, if you guys want to see me make an ass of myself that bad, super chats may be offered on the 4th of July show for the Men in Black dance. We'll see.
No, the suit will not be.
I won't be wearing a black suit because I don't have a black suit that fits that well. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I do.
But I do have the USA team. Well, we know you do because you are classy, you are simple, and you are passionate about
professional wrestling. Damn it!
That's it for us, kids. We're out of here. Have a great Sunday night. We'll see you tomorrow. Damn it.